Okay. Okay. I had a different plan for today's stream, but okay, I see chat. Bro, you're getting the live take. No fucking way. Oh my God. Okay. Whew. How about this one? Whoa. We just went live, dude. And Sarah Bond. Wow. I never dude, literally look at okay, so I went live. You can see the time. I go live at 3:31. This news just broke 3:30 p.m. Bro. Oh my God. Man. For those who are just hopping in, Phil Spencer's leaving Microsoft, so is Sarah Bond. Whoa. 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 I did not have insider knowledge, dude. I had no idea. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm like the real-time processing. Wow. How are we feeling? That's crazy. So Matt Booty staying. Damn. Let's read this together, man. Like let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Oh my God. Wow. Well, I gotta text my editor Dan and be like, "Yo, are you available? Because I gotta do a video tonight." Whoa. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm sorry. I started this off. I'm like completely blindsided here. I did not expect this at all. Wow. Wow. I don't know if it's a layoff or not. Wait, it's real. Type F in chat for Phil Spencer. Wow. Huge day for Xbox here. Wow. What a crazy industry, bro. We just had like, I was going to talk all about PlayStation this stream, man. I wasn't ready to talk Xbox. Whoa. This is the beginning of Microsoft ending Xbox as a console. Yeah. I imagine if he is leaving, like, I said it already. We all know Xbox as we know is gone, but like him and Sarah going at the same time says a lot. Holy shit, dude. We'll go through all this on our own, but like, you know, I mean, you got to think of it this way, right? This like was his vision. Game Pass, the exclusives, the studios. Microsoft has dismantled that. I'm surprised he didn't leave sooner. And honestly, like this guy is taking public black eye after public black eye. Can you blame him for wanting to be out? Brad really is the Grim Reaper. Brad shows up and then a week later. Whoa. We might have to make a video like right here, right now. Like I actually might do something I've never done before. And that's literally record a video live and send it off to my, I don't know what I'm going to do. Obviously, we need to like look at this, and this is something I know y'all expect me to be like on top of. But whoa, man, whoa. Let's just read it together. I just need to see what's going on here. This is from The Verge. Xbox chief Phil Spencer is leaving Microsoft. Chief Phil Spencer is leaving Microsoft after nearly 40 years. I can't even fucking read right now. Nearly 40 years. The software giant Xbox president Sarah Bond's also leaving. What is a major shakeup? Asha Sharma, current president of Core AI product, is taking a Core AI? That just on paper. I don't know shit about Core AI. That just sounds horrible. Core AI. It feels like, yeah, it's all you guys. You do it. Oh, man. Dabber, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. Holy shit. All right, Satya Nadella announced Phil Spencer's retirement in a memo to all Microsoft employees last year. Phil Spencer made the decision to retire from the company. And since then, we've been talking about succession planning. I want to thank Phil for his leadership over 38 years, 12 years leading gaming, transform how we do it. Asha Sharma is taking over from Phil Spencer as the new Microsoft Gaming CEO. Sharma is currently the president of Core AI Product. Oh, boy. And working closely on Microsoft's AI platform efforts since she joined Microsoft. Oh, my God, bro. Oh, no. I can't read that with how Microsoft has been slobbering all over AI and just think that, like, this is good news. Oh, man. Ari Emmer, thank you for being here. Appreciate the super chat, man. Appreciate anyone being here live. This is some crazy shit. This is never what... Oh, my God. What else? So, okay. While Sharma isn't a gamer like Spencer, she does have some consumer experience that should help with leading the division as big as Microsoft Gaming. Sharma left a marketing role at Microsoft in 2013. And has worked at Meta as VP of Product and Engineering and Instacart. Yeah. Yeah, headed back to Microsoft in 2024. Now you're the head of the gaming division. The Instacart COO is now leading Microsoft. Oof. Bro, they're getting a rebrand, bro. I'm telling you right now. Where is it? You know the copy I'm about to pull out. You know what I'm about to do. You remember this? You remember this? Right here. Right here, baby. You're going to start seeing that on the front of games. You're going to... Whoa. Okay. Okay. Real quick before we continue reading here, like, I got to text my editor, Dan, and be like, yo, are you available? Sorry, let me just send him this link real quick. Funny, he just got a new gig and he's working on Fridays, and I'm just like, hey, what's going on, bro? But yeah, I'll figure it out either way. You guys will get a video on this today no matter what, but like, this is like the real time, like, it broke right as we went live. This is so funny. Okay. He's eating lunch right now. Yeah, we might literally record a video live. Like, that just might be what happens. I don't know. I don't know. It might be fun for you all who are here. Like, man. Phil got the Thanos snap. Matty, time to rebrand the pod. Yeah. 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 I don't know. I don't know, but we'll do the video live. Let's do some research. Let's do some research. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it's just like worst case scenario. Like, I do think it was time for new leadership at Xbox, but when I see like this is the new leadership right here, and Meta, Instacart. That's so good. As a PlayStation gamer, is the last thing we needed. Here comes AI Core Pass. Love your content from South Africa. Thank you. Wow, thank you. What's up, Mr. Matravelli? Just got into your content. You were by far my favorite gaming content creator. Inspired me to make content. Keep up the great work, man. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very honored by that. Hopefully I don't let you down. Casper says emergency DD pod went. Yeah, I got to talk to Cog. Like, y'all, we went live. I don't know. Like, how long can I keep this live stream going? I got to really think about this. It's funny. I had like a shitty night's sleep last night and I almost didn't live stream today. But I was like, no, I want to push through for the audience. I was talking to my wife. I was like, I don't want to like stream over the weekend. Like, I want to have my weekends off. But I don't know. Like, I got to like, there's business I got to take care of. I don't know. What in the V8 is in that cup? This is orange and carrot. As always. You know how we do it, Synchro. I would have thought Sarah would be taking over. Not this random person I've never heard of. Yeah, we all had it like played out in our brain. We really did have it all played out in our brain. Like she was the successor. That's why I said her being out, I think is actually more major than Phil. That's my immediate gut take. Like Sarah being gone is the bigger sign that like, oh boy, it's cooked. Like, because she was the one who was to take all that over. Matt Booty hanging around is kind of crazy. I thought that whole trio would just exit together. But Matt Booty was there like during midway days and whatnot. He's hung through some shit. So no, I didn't. Android, I did not know this. Guys, I swear on my fucking life, I did not know this. If I knew this, I would have prepared for a video. I would not have wanted to handle this live because I need to like get my thoughts in real time. And I know those clip farmers on Twitter are going to have a field day like, yo, look at the host at Defining Duke. Look at him. He's crashing out. Like, I don't know, bro. I know how the fucking this shit goes. So Xbox is cooked. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Let's keep reading. Let's see what we got here. Let's keep taking it in. All right. Nadella says he's long on gaming and it's the role at the center of our consumer ambition and believes Sharma has deep experience building and growing platforms, aligning business models to long-term value and operating at global scale, which will be critical in leading our gaming business into its next era of growth. I can smell the AI stink all over this fucking thing. I can smell the AI stink all over this fucking thing, dude. All over. All over. Let's see here. Sharma has now 3 commitments to the future of gaming at Microsoft. Great games, the return of Xbox, the future of play. We will commit to our core Xbox fans and players who have invested in us in the past 25 years and to the players who build the expansive universes and experiences that are embraced by players across the world, says Sharma in an internal memo. We will celebrate our... you can't believe a fucking word this company says. We'll celebrate our roots with renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. It connects us to players and fans who invest in Xbox, into the developers who build ambitious experiences for it. I feel like part of the soul of, like, the literal soul of Xbox is gone. Like, I didn't know it would be the duo out. That's crazy. In a memo to Xbox employees, Spencer reveals that he made the decision to retire in the fall of 2025, just months after rumors circulated online about Spencer's potential retirement. Spencer said in July that he was not retiring anytime soon. Again, bro, this guy just like, I get it, but like, man, just it's never. Okay. Last fall, I shared with Satya that I was thinking about stepping back and starting the next chapter of my life. Certainly, he's got the money to do so. From that moment, we aligned on approaching this transition with intention, ensuring stability and strengthening a foundation we built. Xbox has always been more than a business. It's a vibrant community of players. Who deeply care about what we build and how we build it. It's a thoughtful, deliberate plan for the road ahead. As part of the road ahead for Xbox, President Sarah Bond is also leaving Microsoft to begin a new chapter. According to Spencer, Sarah's been instrumental during a defining period for Xbox, shaping our platform strategy, expanding Game Pass and cloud gaming, supporting new hardware launches, and guiding some of his most significant moments in our history. Oh, here we go. Here's Matt Booty. They're promoting him to EVP and Chief Content Officer after being promoted to an expanded president of game content. I read Phil's note with much gratitude, says Booty in an internal memo. He has been a steady champion for game creators in our studios. Okay, so basically Matt Booty's like the dude next to Core AI. Yeah, like where's Phil and Sarah are going to join other teams, no doubt about it. But I'm just curious where. Like Sarah was at, I think Sarah Bond was at like T-Mobile. Like these are executives. Like they're going to go to another corporation, and I don't know if it'll be in gaming. If I'm Phil, I don't know. If I'm him, I probably want to just like bow out for a while. Probably do what Sean Layden did, start consulting, that sort of thing. But what a day. What a day for gaming, man. I saw some people in chat just being like, yo, like Phil is retiring. I was like, oh, I'll look it up right as we're going live. And I was like, holy shit, there it is. AI is the new all organic. Yeah. Okay, we'll do it all live. I don't know. We've already started. I'll have to go back and see what we missed. You just missed a little something. Just a little something, Rook. Nothing big here. I mean, he didn't get fired, but he's leaving, and Sarah leaving at the same time means I think this means that we are in for a really, really stunning change. Maybe not stunning. Stunning's not the right word. Like, I'm thinking a change along the lines of Microsoft's goals have been very apparent with AI, and like we're about to just shove that. But really, since the multi-platform push, this hasn't felt like Phil and Sarah and Matt's Xbox, and that exit was inevitable. Xbox said to PlayStation, "Hold my beer. Watch this." Sure did. Sure did. They're like, Blue Point, we'll step on a bigger rake for you. We got you guys. Sent the full link on Discord. Matty Gamatsu Oracle has the full email from Satya and the rest of it. Okay, dude, let me grab this. Yeah. It also explains, my editor Dan put it perfectly, like why Phil has been so quiet lately. He really hasn't been like posting, interacting. Like this dude knew he was out. So, okay. So, all right, we got the, okay, yeah. Shout out to Josh. By the way, Josh, I need to shout you out for helping out Josh, our editor on Retro Rebound, because he told me you got gameplay for him for I gave him the full playthrough of RE4 and separate ways, but he still needed more. So I appreciate you helping him out. Whew. All right, we got some super chats here. Another Matty stream. Goddamn, we're eating good. Thank you. Yeah, every Tuesday and Friday. This one I might just be grinding. I might just like, I don't know. We might like, I'll pitch my idea in a moment here. So the something big is why I opened the YouTube app immediately at work, was looking to see if you put anything out yet. Not sure how fresh the news is. Extremely fresh. Like it broke the second we went live. Blue Point shut down by PlayStation. Xbox loses their leadership. Nintendo releases $20 GBA ports all in the same 2 days. I'll take the GBA ports. I will too. It's the least of all the evils. I'm getting something old that I can at least own. Fuck. Wow, this is a real eye opener. AI opener. Okay. I like it, bearded husband. I like it. I'm a pun supporter. AI will become Xbox president. Just you wait. Yeah, they're just gonna straw at Phil Spencer as AI. That's what they're gonna do. So my pitch is like, I don't want to rush the stream. Like, I know it's bad for YouTube to go live, go do the video, go live again. So I don't want to like stop. So I think what we're literally going to do is we're going to get on our grind, because Dan's not even available right now anyway. We're going to rip through the topics I had planned for this stream. I'm going to go make a video after this on Phil Spencer leaving Xbox. I don't know. This demands immediacy, but I'm like, I don't know. This is like the it literally had to drop 5 minutes later. Like, I just need 5 minutes. That's all I needed. And I would have completely reorganized my day. Bro, I had it all set. I was like, I'm going to stream for a couple hours. Then I'm going to order some pizza and wings. Weekend, coast into some Resident Evil. Whew. All right. Let's read this. Let's read this email together here. Shout out to Josh who hooked us up here. This is the full email. Gaming is part of Microsoft from the start. Flight Simulator shipped with Windows, and you can practically ray trace a line from DirectX to the 90s to the accelerated compute era we're in today. As we celebrate Xbox's 25th year, the opportunity and innovation agenda in front of us is expansive. Today, we reach 500 million monthly active users, are a top publisher across all platforms, and continue to innovate across gaming hardware, content, and community in service of creators and players everywhere. I am long on gaming and its role at the center of our consumer ambition. As we look ahead, I'm excited to share that Asha Sharma will become Executive Vice President and CEO of Microsoft Gaming, reporting to me as in Satya Nadella. Over the last 2 years at Microsoft and previously COO at Instacart and a Vice President at Meta, Asha has helped build scale services that reach billions of people and support thriving consumer developer ecosystems. If I got to do my research on her, if she's like, you know, like meta gaming and like she was part of the VR push, I can't hate that too much because while it's kind of gone up in flames and they shut down a lot of studios, the games are fire. And they were pushing exclusivity and whatnot, but like I don't think that's what they're doing here. But hey, I'm just trying to be just trying to provide some extra thoughts here. She brings deep experience building and growing platforms, aligning business models to long-term value and operating at global scale, which will be critical. Okay. Matt Booty will become executive vice president and chief content officer, reporting to Asha. So even though Matt's been around, that's the interesting part. Matt Booty's been around for so long. And I thought if Sarah and Phil are gone, certainly this guy would fill one of their shoes. But Asha jumps above him and Matt reports to her. Interesting. Matt's career reflects a lifelong commitment to games and the people who make them. Under his leadership, Microsoft Gaming has grown to a span of nearly 40 studios across Xbox, Bethesda, Activision, and King, which are home to all these IP. Together, Asha and Matt have the right combination of consumer product leadership and gaming depth to push our platform innovation and content pipeline forward. So it sounds like he's kind of wording it like Matt will inform Asha, a non-gamer, about how to run things here. But to be honest, after everything that's happened with Xbox lately, like I don't even think having a gamer at the top makes a huge difference. It's just like a little warm blanket thought. Like Reggie Fils-Aimé, like my body's ready, and like using his laser eyes, like he's still a corporate who worked at like Pizza Hut, like that's who they are at the end of the day. According to Rebs Gaming, Phil Spencer decided to last fall he's thinking of retiring from Microsoft. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Trying to think. They launched the Ally. They launched a bunch of games. It didn't do super well. So they probably, the revenue was down in the end of the year, like the revenue. So it was bad, but oh boy. I imagine just given this situation right here, though, I see the chat saying it and I agree. I feel like Matt Booty's got to be out soon. I don't know how he lasts in this system. Unless, like, again, was Phil pushed out? Was Sarah pushed out? Because, you're taking your core AI product leader. Let's keep reading, though. Last year, Phil Spencer made the decision to retire from the company, and since then, we've been talking about succession planning. I want to thank Phil for his extraordinary leadership and partnership over 38 years at Microsoft, including 12 leading gaming. Phil transformed what we do. He expanded our reach across PC, mobile, and cloud, tripled the size of the business, helped shape our strategy through acquisitions of Activision, ZeniMax, and Minecraft, and strengthened our culture across our studios. I've long admired Phil's unwavering commitment to players, creators, and his team, and I'm personally grateful for his leadership. He will continue working closely with Asha to ensure a smooth transition. We have an extraordinarily creative talent across our studios and global platform that is second to none. I'm excited for how we will capture the opportunity ahead and define what's next. Okay, congratulate Matt and Asha. Cool. Okay, let's see what Phil wrote. Just sat down for lunch at work and open up the stream, bro, and the world is ending. Xbox def looking broker than before. Yeah. How much longer will Game Pass exist? I think it will exist, but there's been that rumor of like a free tier and a lot of cloud streaming pushing. Like this is all going digital, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if next news story that breaks is like there's no console, even though they said already we're gonna drive it through the console. We have tons of emails. Great. This is great. Okay, this is great content. Thank you, Josh. All right, let's read this and digest it. This is from Phil. When I walked through Microsoft doors as an intern in June of 1988, I could never have imagined the products I'd help build, the players and customers we'd serve, or the extraordinary teams I'd be lucky to join. It's been an epic ride and truly a privilege of a lifetime. Last fall, I shared with Satya that I was thinking about stepping back and starting the next chapter of my life. From that moment, we aligned on approaching this transition with intention, ensuring stability and strengthening the foundation we've built. Xbox has always been more than a business. Okay, vibrant community deserves a thoughtful, deliberate plan. Today marks an exciting new chapter for Microsoft Gaming as Asha Sharma steps into the role of CEO. and I want to be the first to welcome her to this incredible team. Working with her over the past several months has given me tremendous confidence. She brings genuine curiosity, clarity, and deep commitment to understanding players, creators, and the decisions that shape the future. We know this is an important moment for our fans, partners, and team, and we're committing to getting it right. I'll remain in an advisory role through the summer to support a smooth handoff, so he'll be hanging around at least until this summer's direct. I'm also grateful for the strength of our studio's organization. Matt Booty and our studios continue to build an incredible portfolio, and I have full confidence in the leadership and creative momentum across our global studios. I want to congratulate Matt on his promotion to EVP and Chief Content Officer. As part of this transition, Sarah Bond has decided to leave. I like that she doesn't have her, it's interesting she doesn't have her own email. Sarah Bond's decided to leave. She's been instrumental in defining Xbox, shaping our platform, expanding Game Pass to cloud gaming, supporting new hardware launches, and guiding some of our most significant moments in history. I'm grateful for her partnership and the impact she's had, and I wish her the very best in what's to come next. Most of all, to everyone in Microsoft Gaming, I want to say thank you. I've learned so much from this team, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, the writing was basically on the wall. I think, like, after what happened with ZeniMax, where it was like Phil was excited playing the game and then they shut down, I think that's just that moment happened, and then there's this realization in fall of like, hey, I don't call the shots here. Fuck this. Brad left a time-delayed nuke from last week's TD. Yeah, sure did, bro. Sure did. Brad the Grim Reaper with a delayed strike. Matt Booty is being promoted as the most shocking to me. Yeah, dude, like, I got to be honest, man. With the content quality that we were dealing with, I'm surprised he's hanging around. In your opinion, what was the best thing Phil Spencer did for Xbox? I would say I'm stuck between 2018 acquisition spree, because that really reinvigorated us. Like, I remember thinking to myself, oh, they're going in. Like, they're going to try to match PlayStation next generation. They're restarting the cycle. Okay, like, they've kind of accepted Xbox One as a wash. This makes a lot of sense. That one got me excited because of all these teams that can make unique exclusives for the platform, drive interest to Xbox, and, like, I think exclusives are good for gaming in a lot of ways. Not always, but in a lot of ways. So to me, that was pretty exciting. Game Pass was the one, though, that I remember making a video on when they first announced it, and I literally, the headline was like, this is going to change the industry. Just growing up, like, renting games from Blockbuster, I thought Game Pass was such a great innovation on that idea. I think it almost grew too big for its own good, where we see where it ended up, like day one Game Pass, and then that increases the price of Game Pass itself, because now you've bought all these companies and you're hurting your sales. Like, but when it was just like initially that sort of library of just content, like, that was awesome. I would go with the 2018 and 2019 acquisitions. That to me felt like a statement, and in a good way. And then them getting Bethesda as well, I thought was going to end well. I was totally dead fucking wrong about that. Super naive. I was super naive about a lot of the acquisitions. But if we're talking about like an actionable thing that you could feel, Game Pass. Like, that was his baby from what we understand. And I think it was good for the platform. I think it gave it a defining quality. And it was sort of like even when you started to do day one Game Pass stuff, I do think it really started to create an interesting identity for the platform, where like even if it was coming out on PlayStation, when they were more competitive, Xbox and PlayStation, it would lead to a little bit of like, well, yeah, you can go pay for it, or you've got it over here. And like, Xbox kind of gets a little buff for that multi-platform game. So I thought it was just an interesting business approach. And I'd say that was the best thing he did. Off topic, Maddie, what juice flavor is today? This is orange and carrot. It's very good. Very good. But yeah, like, the acquisitions in the moment felt good because barring Activision, like, it felt like we were moving toward what PlayStation was doing. We know now Xbox completely fumbled the bag on that. But in terms of an actionable thing that I enjoyed and got some positivity out of, Game Pass for sure. That was the best thing he did. I wanted Xbox to challenge Sony's exclusives. If the shift meant more ecosystem control, that's concerning. Yeah, dude, I agree. Like, I want, that was why the studio acquisitions were like interesting, because yeah, I know consolidation's bad. Certainly I've learned that more than anyone. Like, I was definitely a little naive about it all, but I would definitely say that was like the thing that we were excited about, is like, PlayStation shouldn't control the industry, Nintendo shouldn't. Xbox trying to challenge that, that was an exciting idea. But now we see when they try to build their own studio with the Initiative, that's probably one of Phil's greatest failures, is just letting that spiral. Same thing with Matt Booty, like letting South and Midnight go on for like 7 years, letting Redfall go out the door. Just a lot of major fuck ups this gen, bro. Sega did Game Pass long before Microsoft. Oh, yeah, it's fair. It's fair. But you get the point. You get the idea. Don't say it looks gross, Darth Monkey. Don't insult my juice. This is good shit. Did you think orange juice is gross? Okay. Let's keep reading these emails. This is from Asha Sharma, who's the new Microsoft Gaming CEO. And by the way, guys, thank you for the super chats. Thanks for being here. I this is going completely against my original plans, but I'm still figuring it out. I think my pitch here is like either record a video live and then just get into what we were planning to do. Because at least that way I can send it off to my editor and, you know, at least he's got that all handled in a timely manner. Because I know y'all are going to be, everyone's going to be like, whoa, where's the video, Matty? Don't worry. What's up, Jay? Good to see you, bro. Are we faulting them for those games taking a while? I think so. Yeah, it's more so just letting these. I mean, obviously the studios are at the heart of that issue too. But like, it starts with Bethesda with Redfall. Like, why greenlight a live service game for Arcane of all places? Xbox gets them. Xbox has a chance to give Arcane a leash, and they have them put out Redfall instead, and then shuts them down because Redfall was obviously bad. So that was one of those moments I wish I trusted my gut more. When Redfall was first shown off and everyone around me was like, yo, it's hype. And I was like, I wasn't hating on it, but I was like, I don't know. And I was like, all right, like it should be all right. But like, obviously not. Okay. What do we got here? This is from Asha Sharma. Dear team, today I begin my role as CEO of Microsoft Gaming. I feel humility and urgency. Humility because the team has built something extraordinary over there. Just fucking spare me, dude. This shit is so gag worthy. I'm stepping into work shaped by generations of artists, engineers, designers, writers, musicians, operators, and more. I guarantee you replace 90% of them with AI. The level of craft here is exceptional, amplified by Xbox. Thank you to Phil for his leadership and to every studio, platform, and operations team that built this foundation. We are stewards of some of the most loved stories and characters in entertainment. First job is simple. Understand what makes this work and protect it. What does this work mean? Like right now, Xbox in my brain does not work. So is it getting back to something? First, great games. Everything begins here. We must have great games built by players before we do anything. Unforgettable characters, stories make us feel. Innovative gameplay, creative excellence. We will empower our studios, invest in iconic franchises. Okay. I promoted Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. Oh, she promoted him. She did. Not Phil. Not Satya. She promoted. Interesting. He delivers the craft and challenges of building great games. Okay. Second, the return of Xbox. This is interesting. Okay. We will commit to our core Xbox fans who have invested us with the past 25 years. We'll celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to the Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. Probably the best line at everything I've read so far. That can be interesting. I don't know if they're going back to basics, but I doubt it. But like, you know, I read that and I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Yeah. Who am I kidding? What am I doing? It connects us to the players, fans who invest in Xbox, and the developers who build ambitious experiences for it. Okay, so they're talking about their little hybrid thing. And console, but it's really a PC. Gaming now lives across devices, not within the limits of a single piece of hardware. As we expand to PC, mobile, cloud, Xbox should feel seamless, instant. Okay, yeah, so PC. Got it. Third, future of play. We are witnessing the reinvention of play. To meet the moment, we will invent new business models and new ways to play by leaning into what we already have. Oh. As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. That's so good. I feel like I just read a Reddit post, bro. Oh, man. Do you guys believe this one? Do you believe that there's not going to be AI slop? Soulless AI slop. Bruh, you came from the core AI team. Do I really believe for a fucking moment here that it's you of all people think soulless AI slop? I'll eat my shoe, bro. That's the live Matty take. There's no fucking way. There's no way. I smell shit all over this, bro. Games will always be art, crafted by humans. This reads so much like... I'm going to be a Debbie Downer. I'm sorry. Let me be a Debbie Downer for a moment. I'm sorry. I'm being a little toxic here. But, like, this reads so much like, we know this is going to leak. We know this is going to leak, so bang. Whew. How did Satya let her write this, though? That's the crazy part. Like, Satya literally said, we need to get past the idea of slop versus sophistication. And she's like, yo, we don't need soulless AI slop. To be fair, right now, what we know is that Xbox does approach AI with, at least right now, their studios have the option to use it. It's not mandated yet. That's according to, I think, the Halo leaks that happened. But, like, dude, yeah, like, Nabber's right on the money, bro. Like, Copilot's on every device. Like AI, like they were pushing like Copilot for gaming before, like in a little test on your phones, because no doubt it's going to be a thing on your consoles. AI is going to be a thing. It is a thing, sorry, on the Xbox Ally, like how it gets upgraded, like this AI chip. Wait, Drawn Out is in here? Oh, Drawn Out. Dude, I was watching your, yo, not to be weird, Drawn Out. I was watching your videos in the shower. Bro, you make great content. I love your stuff. I'm so glad your shit's blown up, dude. Like, I love the format. I love the style. You're awesome. Like, I also love, you know, just like an even keeled voice on Bethesda. It's really refreshing. So, dude, just awesome stuff. Awesome to see you here, man. Love it. Love it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do too. Like, really good stuff. Okay. Xbox CCO Matt Booty had an email as well. Okay, let's see if we get anything else in here. Oh, appreciate you, Drawn Out, dude. Thank you. Thank you, dude. Love what you do. I read Phil's note with much gratitude. He's been a steady champion for game creators and our teams. I've learned so much from his leadership over the years. Sorry, I keep laughing. I'm sorry, I keep laughing. I'm just like, it reads so much like, oh, this shit's going to leak. Let's just make this sound like we love everything that's going on. All our games have benefited from his foundational support. I'm also grateful to Satya for his ongoing commitment to gaming and holding a vision of how it can connect back to the larger company. Looking forward, I'm excited to partner with Asha as our next CEO. Our first conversation centered around her commitment to making great games and the role that plays in the overall success. She asks questions, pushes for clarity, and wants our choices grounded in the player and developer needs. The mindset matters as the industry around us is changing quickly. How players engage, how games are made, and how business models and platforms evolve. We have good reason to believe in what's ahead. This organization and its franchises have navigated changes for decades, and our strengths come from teams who know how to adapt and keep delivering. They keep talking adapt, change, the road ahead. That confidence is grounded in a strong pipeline, franchises, bets, clear player demand. My focus is on supporting the team and leaders we have in place and creating conditions for them to do their best work. To be clear, no other organizational changes are underway for our studios. By the way, no layoffs, just our CEO. Wow. Well, there's your full email, everyone. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Iron Rook's cooking. Yeah, you lay off that many people as you push into AI. You shut down studios as you push into AI. I'm sorry. Asha, with all due respect, my girl, where is it? Where is the funniest shit of all time? Yeah, when I see this shit here, I mean, I want it to be true. I really do. I don't think Xbox is going to do like Gen AI slops dropping like Halo Gen AI games. But like, do I actually? I don't. Why am I giving them credit right now? Like, I could totally see a world where they're like free Game Pass trial, like make your own Game Pass games or something like that. Like, didn't we see like Disney was like flirting around with that idea of letting people like license their IP for AI gen content? Like, yeah, dude. Like that's the next step. They're gonna take their AI, I can't even talk, bro. I'm so flustered. They're gonna take their IP and use AI, all these blah 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 blah, to generate content. It's got to be like, yeah. I'm with you, Rook. I'm with you. But yeah, there's no doubt that like we have seen. This is some of the most outlandish change we've ever seen in gaming, man. Like just to process and digest it now. This is some of the most insane changes we have seen so rapidly these last 5 years. It started off business as usual. Xbox and PlayStation. Take me back, man. Take me back. Take me back. It was so nice. It was so nice. It was so fun. To the simple good old days, man. Take me back. Oh. I know, Stefano. Brad did his thing. Oh, boy. Wow. Thank you guys for being here. I'm sorry this has been a little sloppy. I mean, you know, I'm trying my best to like handle it with some grace, but holy shit. All right, Josh is hooking us up here with a tweet. So Phil confirmed the news as if there was any doubt now. It's rare in life to know when a chapter is closing, but after 38 years at Microsoft, that moment has arrived for me. I made the decision to retire in the next chapter of my life. Okay. Okay, here's Asha. Oh, she just straight up ripping the title. Boom. CEO at Xbox. All lowercase, too. All right, you'll get the follow. What we got going on here? Okay. Today I became a real CEO. Great games, return of Xbox, future of play. Okay, they have like a blog post and stuff. All right. A younger leader. Not bad. Okay. Okay, here's all the... Oh, okay. This is what we just wrote. What we just read. Okay. Good to have sources here. I'll give that a retweet. Wow. It's in the name Matty Slav. I know, but like I'm trying to get something for like Mr. Matty where it's like a little bit better. Just a little bit of cut above what I'm capable of. You know, like that, just reaching for the stars a little bit. Okay. Okay, chat. I'm a little nervous to record a video live, but I think that's like the route. I think we just do it and then we just go ahead with our Matty Slop stuff. I'll just let my wife know, like, hey, Phil Spencer retired. I needed extra hour, and we're pizza at 7 instead. We usually do it at like 6:30, 6:30. So, whew. Okay. All right, we're shaking. We're making moves here. Let's do this. Let me get all my screenshots together. Let's just hang. Let's make a video, and then we'll continue with Matty Slop as per your usual programming. Let's see here. Bearded Husband says, this makes me think we're going to look back one day on the console wars and think, man, I missed that. I already kind of do. I'll be honest with you, bro. Matty, I got into Final Fantasy 15. I'm loving it so far, but can I know why a lot of people hate 15? When 15 launched, there were a lot of gaps like in the story that were unexplained. The DLC has really fixed that, but 15's awesome. I love 15. So like, shout out to you for playing it. It's really good nowadays. This legit made me depressed. Say what you want about Phil, but he actually played games. Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, the whole pictures of Phil holding the controller. Yeah, you see what happens when like a bean counter steps in, like a Jim Ryan. That's part of the problem here, which we'll talk about in our video. Like, that's part of the problem. Like, here's Jim Ryan. And we feel all of those awful changes, right? No doubt about it. I don't know if like, at the end of the day, I guess what I realize is like Phil is still an executive. Like that doesn't change. So it's upsetting. Like, yeah, maybe it meant like a Ninja Gaiden 4 was more possible. That was cool. That's something I'll always be very thankful to Xbox for. But yeah. Some of you were wild in the chat, bro. Okay. Let's get the content together here. Need to open up a new window here, and I'm going to take a bunch of screenshots. Y'all are going to get to see the process live, I guess. Fuck it. Why not? I just want to be careful. I got screenshots of our game on my computer, so I'm going to be very safe, and you're just going to stare at my face while I do what I got to do on my computer, and then you get to watch the process in real time. I don't know. I don't even know if my format really works live, now that I think about it. I'll get my work together anyway. We'll make a fucking decision. I don't know. I'm clearly very indecisive right now. Okay. Let's grab a new window here and let's get this all rocking and rolling. We'll just probably use straight up the Microsoft blog post and just like rip off of that here. Instacart is mentioned. It is mentioned here. Okay. Yeah, so she's CEO today. Okay, we don't need Ikematsu. We don't need anything. Yeah, okay, so all the other news outlets don't matter at this point because we have literally the direct Microsoft source. So let's just fucking grab that shit and go for it. Y'all got to stop talking about Asha like that, man. Knock it off. We got to focus on the games, all right? That's all I'm saying. Stop. Get your head out of the gutters. Knock it off. All right, let's make a Phil Spencer folder. This will be a little bit more of a rushed Matty video, just to be transparent, by the way. Like, I have a process, but, like, because we're doing it live and because I want to, like, make sure we're on top of it and make sure that Dan's not working late. Because, like, Dan, by the way, Dan's got, like, a social media gig that he does on Friday, so he is making an exception to, like, obviously this is huge news. So I want to make sure I'm, like, timely with him. So for those who are watching me do this live, just know this will definitely be sloppier. I'm going to probably, like, fuck up my sentences a million times and everything. And Dan will do his editing magic, and you get to see that all live. Who knows? Sometimes I lock in. Sometimes I just lock in and absolutely smoke a recording. Certainly the social pressure will get me there. You guys are saying I should be the head of Xbox? No, I shouldn't. I'd be terrible at that. Slop me, Matty? But sure, why not? Let's do a little live slop here. Sarah Bond gone too, and the fact that the new head of Xbox is the current president of Core AI. Shit end of the week with this in Blue Point. Yeah. Live service and AI. Don't you love it? We should do some research on Core AI. I love when Matty talks sloppy to us. Hey, my pleasure. But hey, Matt Booty gets to keep his job no matter what. Lame. Everyone wants this guy canned, and I get it. I get it. Tell me more about Core AI. Okay. This was introduced last year. Introducing Core AI platforms and tools. Is Asha mentioned here at all? No mentioning of Asha, but she was the head of this all. Okay. As we begin new year, it's clear that we're entering the next innings of this AI platform shift. 2025 will be about a model-forward application that reshape all applications, more so than any previous platform. It's akin to GUI. Yeah, this is totally off the radar for me. We'll be building agentic applications of memory, entitlements, and action space. It will inherit powerful model capabilities, and we will adapt these capabilities for enhanced performance and safety across roles. This is leading to a new AI-first app stack. Okay, one with new UI and user experience patterns, runtimes to build with agents, orchestrate multiple agents, and reimagine management and observability layer. In this world, Azure must become the infrastructure for AI while we build our AI platforms and developer tools spanning Azure AI, Foundry, GitHub, and VS Code on top of it. In other words, our AI platform and tools will come together to create agents, and these agents will come together to change every SaaS application category, and building custom applications will be driven by software, i.e. service as software. Okay. The good news is that we have been working at this for more than 2 years and have learned a lot in the terms of systems, app platforms, tools required for the AI era. So the head of all of this is now leading Xbox, by the way. This is written by Satya, but the head of all of what we're reading about right now. Bleak. To more rapidly and boldly advance our roadmap across these layers, we are creating a new engineering organization, core AI platform and tools. This new division will bring together DevDiv, AI platform, and some key teams from the office of the CTO, AI supercomputer, AI agentic runtimes, and engineering thrive, with the mission to build the end-to-end co-pilot and AI stack for both our first-party and third-party customers to build and run AI apps and agents. This group will also build our GitHub Copilot, thus having a tight feedback loop between leading first AI product and AI platform to motivate the stack and its roadmap. Jay Parekh will lead this group. So no mention of Asha. Really? Yeah, okay, no mention of Asha yet. Jay will work closely with Scott, Rajesh, Charlie, Mustafa, and Kevin. Additionally, Jay and the team will lead our progress around. Okay. As our cloud infrastructure continues to grow and scale to become Microsoft's largest business, Scott will continue to lead cloud plus AI to ensure we're delivering the quality and security and innovation that our customers and partners count on for their most mission-critical applications, data, and AI workloads. Ultimately, we must remember that our internal organization boundaries are meaningless to both our customers and our competitors. When we talk about operating as one Microsoft, we are effectively talking about how we are continually increasing our customer focus, raising the bar of our innovation, and driving the accountability. Okay, cool. That sounds fucking great, dude. I'm so excited. Well, time to gather screenshots. So it's going to be so fun to watch how this unfolds. Okay. Yeah, we just got to talk about it all. Like, I was just like, sometimes I'm very picky about the screenshots I take for the videos. Like, okay, do I need to include like some of the corporate speak? And I usually chop around that. And I'm going to, but there's still like some, like with Satya's message that kind of tees it up. It's like, oh shit. I am long on gaming. So funny. This is just like, it can't be a worse combination. Like, I just don't know how else to define it. There can't be a worse combination. I'm very curious what Cog thinks. Cog always said he wanted Phil, Matt, and Sarah there because when they went, he was always worried who would fill those shoes. And I was always like, I think you need a new breath of fresh air. I didn't think Sarah would go with Phil, to be fair. I thought it'd be like one of them. Like, I thought it'd be Phil. But at this point, it's them choosing to leave, it seems like, or being forced out, versus like when they had an action that they should have been held accountable for. That's part of the problem. Did you check on Cog? No, I haven't heard from Cog. Nothing in my DMs yet either. Might be about time to land a Phil Spencer interview, bro. He ain't talking to me. I called for his job. I appreciate it, but yeah, I'm the last person on his list for sure. I've been pushing for a Phil Spencer interview while he worked there for like 5 years. It ain't happening. No matter who I interviewed and who I put in front of him, like the professionalism and the candor and everything, it didn't fucking matter. That guy would never sit down and do an interview with me. If he does, I'd be very happy to. But especially now, it's like, hey, let's talk about it. Whoever gets that first interview with one of these two after they've left, that'll be an interesting listen. And Godspeed to Asha, dude, because she's now where Phil and Sarah were, and she's got to be ready to be the center of a lot of public ridicule. Gamers are ruthless. Let me keep gathering my screenshots here. As an FYI, when I record this live, I think I can, let me, before I even assume I can record this live, let me make sure I can actually like do a start recording. Okay, I can. I think this actually, that's crazy. Oh, but we'll have the chat on screen? Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn that off. I didn't think of that. Okay. Yeah, it'll be a very like, you're just gonna watch me be a talking head. If y'all are cool with that, then awesome. But just a warning. Let me see. Yeah, okay, so the recording works great. Yeah, it's just it's got the chat up, so I'll have to hide the chat before I get started. We got a super chat here from Scary John. Matty, I've been a follower of Game Ranks as well as your channel for years now. How did you and Jake meet, and what are your guys' plans for 2026? Oh, sweet. I love this question. You know I love Jake. How did we meet? That's a really good question. When did I... Jake and I met, we knew each other through Jimmy Champagne. Jimmy's one of my really good friends. He's helped me build like Retro Rebound and Matty Slop. Like he's always been there and just like awesome guy. And he did the thumbnail work for Retro Rebound when I first started. And then he did the thumbnail work for Jake's channel. I think he still does it for Jake. Because him and Jimmy are tight. And I think through Jimmy, me and Jake were communicating a lot. And then there was an event. It was an Xbox event for sure where Jake and I had met. And from there, I mean, like, we just have, like, a similar vibe. So it's just, like, fast friends from there, you know. Not to make it, like, weird or anything, you know, where, like, I don't want to speak too much for him. Like, he's my homie. But, like, I love Jake, dude. And so that was what we met at one of those events for sure. I can't remember exactly which one. As for 2026, I'm sure, I don't want to speak for him and Ralph, but, like, yeah, I love to get them together every year and, like, have a chat. It seems people always want more of it, but, like, we've never really talked about what that would look like because they're really busy guys. And so am I. And so it's like one of those things where I like that people look forward to it. I understand people want more of that though, but we all have like our own respective shows. So like maybe the stars align at some point. I'd love that, you know, to be honest, but you know, I don't know what more we'll do together. I'm sure I'll see them at events this year. That would be cool. Hey, I have to say, did you get the email I sent you? Stay positive. I don't know. So I don't like fully run my own email. Like it's through my partner agency. So I like don't check in as often. Otherwise, like I'm trying to be very conscious of like messaging like other people, work related stuff. Cause if like when your platform does get to a certain point, I'm not saying it's like a flex, but when you get to a certain point, bro, I could just sit here all day and just talk to people. There's so many interactions I could have. So I apologize if I did miss it, but it's just one of those things where it's like I can't get back to everyone. So I appreciate you writing in, man. I'll try to keep a lookout for it. Dave Wonder says, hey, Matty, been keeping up with your channel here lately. Loving the content, brother. Was curious your take on the new prototype rumors. I think they're the remake rumors, right? I'm all for it. I'm a huge prototype head. Last time we saw Jake, speaking of, because we were talking about him earlier, I know Jake's a prototype head as well. Yeah, anytime we can get more prototype, I am for it. That'd be sick. So hell yeah. I'm very excited about that. May it be one of Phil's last great games greenlit. That's what I'm wondering where the cutoff is going to be. Like when the Phil run is over. That's what I'm wondering. Okay, let me screenshot Phil Spencer's message now. Yeah, this first part of his message I'll screenshot for visibility, but otherwise it's a lot of blah, blah, blah. But it's really the part he talks about Sarah Bond leaving. That's kind of crazy. I feel like it's pretty over lately. Yeah, it's hard to feel like very optimistic about a lot of where like modern gaming's going. That's what I'm telling you all. Like, support your indies. Your boy's an indie developer. You know, we have a little team. Support us. These companies got more than enough money and they're making stupid fucking choices. I can't get over. Hold on, I'm taking screenshots, but I just can't get over. Where is it? I just saw it. Soulless AI slop. That shit is hilarious. That is so funny. I can picture Satya reading that, like his eyebrow twitching a little bit. He's like, what do you mean? Slop versus sophistication. How dare you? Oh, so good. But yeah, man, like in all seriousness, like just find your favorite indie, support them. I feel like it's that time. Let the independent artists do their thing. Like that's the beauty of the games industry is like a lot of people can rise up. And the power of the technology a lot of these AAA are talking about is really great for the smaller teams because they can, Expedition's a great example. They're not like indie, but like they're a small team and they got to do a lot because of the power of the technology. AAA just doesn't seem to be wielding it well. Their goals are aligning with an AI fad. And so they'll pay the price. So just support your indies, man. Indeed it does, Locke. Good to see you here. I can't wait to talk to you about this tonight and tomorrow. This is going to be, like we're going to have a good time getting into this one. Oh, boy. Locke, Brad struck, dude. Someone put it perfectly. He left a time bomb, and he was waiting for it to detonate after he left the Defining Duke episode. Tyler, thank you for your super chat. How can we support your game directly, Matty? Let me earn it first. Yeah, like let me show you it. Like, then we'll get there. I was kidding, but like, treat me like any other developer. Let me give you something that you want to pay for. Right? That's our mission statement. Let us do that. I appreciate it though. Thank you. Really nice of you. No worries though. I got a DM Dan. Okay, Dan, it is you. I was like, I saw your icon there. I was like, I recognize that from when I DM you, but I didn't know if that was you for sure or not. Yeah, all the editors are here then. Yeah, just the whole team is showing up now. Well, Dan, now you get to watch the video get recorded live, and that might make your job a little bit easier. So, this is gonna be fucking weird, bro. But I feel like we got like I'm gonna sound a little weird here, but there's gonna be like a one big happy family moment. You guys get to watch me stutter. You get to watch everything Dan has to cut through, and I think that might be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm acting like video making is this very secret thing that like no one's done before, but I don't know. Maybe y'all haven't seen like. How bad it can get. Dan's had to cut through a lot of my crappy recordings. Like I sent him one the other day. I think it was a Crimson Desert or no, I think it was the PlayStation, the next gen gaming one. I was just like on a heater of like stuttering and stammering and I just could not get it right. And like I got to trust the process and hope Dan can make me sound somewhat literate. Thank you, Entertainment Breeze. Very nice of you to say. Behind the slop. Yeah, there you go. You guys are getting a peek behind the meat. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. No, you're not. You're getting a peek behind the slop. Yep, let's just stick with that one. All right, Asha Sharma's message. Let's screenshot it. Okay, well, yeah, we'll just... I gotta screenshot the full message because I kind of want to cook up how PR coded this is. Like, I just get a kick out of her saying soulless AI slop. Xbox disintegrating, but hey, you can buy some 22-year-old remake of 30-year-old games for $20 a pop on Nintendo eShop. Pokemon stay winning. The thing is that they didn't even do anything to the games. From what I saw in the trailers, it's just the old games. Like, did they do anything at all? Because to me, like those games are built for like the HD 2D remake. I don't know. JD, super chat. Speaking of indies, what are your thoughts of Replaced? It recently got pushed back to April, but it has Cyberpunk Blade Runner vibes. Hope you review it. I want to, yeah. It being in April is good because that's a less busy month. So selfishly, I was kind of happy about that. I'm sure that's a big reason why they delayed too. Like March was really packed. Cog was telling me that there was some like frame pacing issues with the demo. I want to try it out and see what's going on there. But it feels like I don't know how long the game's going to be. Like my expectations are in a place of like, this is going to be like a tighter indie experience that's going to like deliver a message, and that might not be super long. So do I want to play a demo of this? But I'm excited for it. I've always been excited since this thing got revealed. It looks excellent. Love the art style. Very good. Very good. HD 2D remake of Pokemon. Now that requires spending money and putting effort into the game. You're right. Silly me. You're so right. You're so right. Yeah. I mean, they're going to make money either. I kind of get now why Nintendo rocks the way they do. It's just stupid, though. It's just like, oh, we're going to make money anyway. It's like, yeah, I guess. But, like, isn't there, like, a pride in your work? Like, don't you want another team other than Game Freak who just makes, like, a high-res version of Pokemon or like a interesting Pokemon spinoff? I will say Pokemon Pocopia is going to be rad. Pokemon Pocopia is made by Omega Force, who made Dragon Quest Builders 2. And Dragon Quest Builders 2 is like one of my favorite games. I love that game. So Pocopia is going to slap. Like that's going to be, I know already that's going to be a Pokemon game I love. I can't wait for that one. Once I learned that team was on it and Game Freak was not involved, I was like, okay, cool. And in fairness to Game Freak, Beast of Reincarnation, didn't really like what I saw at the developer direct. It looked like it had all the issues that I expect from a Game Freak game, but the state of play trailer looked way better, way sharper, ran better, looked more inspired. I don't know, just like everything looked a little better. It was interesting. So I'm keeping my eye on that one. I went from like, no, I'm not playing it to okay, let's see what this thing's got. Screenshotting Asha's message. That'll probably be the bulk of the videos, breaking down Asha's message, because this is some fucking gold, bro. Yo, Nabber, you're on the money, dog. Like, yeah, Mystery Dungeon for me is the big one. I remember there was a leak for Spike Chunsoft that there was like a trademarking for like a Mystery Dungeon game or something, and that's just not shown up. I would love a new Mystery Dungeon game, though. Every year when the Pokemon Day rolls around, I pray that we get a new Mystery Dungeon game. And not like, because the remake took away from so much of the art style that made the first game so cozy. I'm sure they'll just remake Explorers of Sky and call it a day, but I would love a new entry. Those stories get dark and they're really good. Pokemon spin-offs are forever better than the mainline games. After Black and White, I'd say that's where I started to really feel that. But then by that point, I was moving on to Mega Man Battle Network, and that series is fire. I wouldn't go this far, Quirtus. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Yeah, I get some people are down on Obsidian, but like, I'm not there. Avowed was not great, but I think Outer Worlds 2 shows that they still got it. And Grounded 2 does too. I don't think Obsidian's in that direction. And I think we should really, if anything, applaud Obsidian's transparency, where they were like being celebrated for the year of Obsidian. They made a whole piece of like, no, it's actually like a sign that we need to do better. I think that's like a good thing to see out of a team. So I don't know. People clown on them, and I get it. Like, again, Avowed pissed a lot of people off, but like, dude, to me, I'm like, you guys have made a lot of my favorite games since 2010, really for me since 2004. So to me, I'm not like the whole, what have you done for me lately, where like one game takes me off the ball. But I'm one of those people who really like the Outer Worlds 1. A lot of people are very critical of the Outer Worlds 1, but then Starfield came out and I started to see some revisionist history on Outer Worlds 1, and then no one supported Outer Worlds 2. Damn. Hate to see it. Yeah, deactivated LeBron. Phil and crew are gone. It's Phil and Sarah out. Matt Booty is still hanging around. In fact, you can see him right here with the new head of Xbox. So there you go. Does that look like a happy man to you? Does he look like he's happy with what's happening with Xbox? They got Halo in the background. I love it, bro. They always go. The Xbox always goes back to Halo. Like, hold on. Let me find. Hold on. Satya Nadella. What did he say? He said Satya Nadella said Xbox is all in on gaming. Or Microsoft is all in on gaming, and he was wearing a Halo Infinite sweatshirt, which I've never. Yeah, here we go. This right here. It's something about they always go out to Halo. They're like, we love gaming, and like he just throws on like the Halo gear. There's something just so funny about that to me. It's always like, yeah, that one, easy. Like wear a deep, like put on a banjo tee. Do you know what that would do? Did they ever think about that? Like throw on a Banjo Kazooie shirt and see how people go like, oh, she can lead this division. Like it's that simple sometimes. Let me get the screenshots for Core AI. You know, the second the camera got cut off, he's like, get this damn thing off me. Yeah, he's like, where's my AI? Where's my Copilot t-shirt? That's what I want to throw on here. Sorry, I'm just doing some research right now. Oh man. Oh man. I found something that you guys aren't gonna like. I mean, it's kind of just like icing on the cake, but chat, knock it off. Knock it off. Stop that. I'm looking at her profile on Microsoft. Asha Sharma is president leading product development for Microsoft's core AI products. In this role, she oversees teams and technologies that power AI across Microsoft and its enterprise customers, spanning critical infrastructure, foundation models, and end-to-end tool chains for building, managing, and deploying AI and agentic applications. Her portfolio includes Azure AI Foundry, Azure OpenAI Service, Azure Machine Learning, Responsible AI, AI Search, customizable APIs, and Azure AI Services. She also leads applied engineering, computational engineering, and growth for Microsoft's core AI division. Prior to joining, she served as chief operating officer of Instacart, overseeing product design, data science, research, marketing, operations, customer support, and new business initiatives. She knows how to make money. This girl knows how to make bread. Earlier, as vice president of product of Meta, she oversaw Messenger, Instagram Direct, Messenger Kids, remote presence, calling and video, and company. So nothing to do with meta gaming. And she's on the board of Home Depot, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Oh boy. Yeah, I told you guys. Man. I was like, yeah, I think I found something you all won't like. Let's add that to the screenshot pile. Who is Asha Sharma? There's your answer. Remembering Duke. I just played Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on my PS5 Pro, I'm guessing you're saying. Machine Games did one hell of a job. It's actually canon in the timeline. Yeah, they did a wonderful job like filtering it into the movies and stuff. Like they knocked it out of the park, bro. Absolutely awesome job. One of my favorite games from, was that 2024? Yeah. Great end to the year. And like you could feel like the mixture of like the first person immersive sim qualities and like what Machine Games is good at. Like they did an amazing job. The exploration was good. Right game length too. Side quests were really good as well. Yeah, that's a game I want to get the platinum trophy for. I love Indiana Jones, man. I'm a late adopter of it. I played Emperor's Tomb as a kid. Loved that so much, but the movies I was very late to. All right, let's get these Let's get these other snippets here, and then we'll record a video live, bro. Like, I don't... Not really... This is so funny, bro. This is so funny. She be messaging kids. I hope not. That's the last thing Xbox needs. All right. I'm trying to make sure I have this organized so this can go as smoothly as possible. Okay, this will be 3-1. And then this will be 3-2. I label all of my files by, like, numbers. Because basically what I do when I make my videos is I bring up, like, I screenshot, like, for news clippings. Like, it's different with reviews, but, like, I bring up, like, screenshots and I look at them while I'm, like, talking to the camera, and then, like, the screenshots are separate files, but I, like, go through them in order. Do you think no alien races hurts Starfield? Not really. I kind of like that it's a sense of realism, especially when you get to the end. I like the main story of Starfield. So, like, for me, I won't spoil for those who haven't played it, but I like how they handle things. But there is also, like, a what's out there question, and I think they answer it in a fun way. But also, if you're a fan of a certain movie, it's kind of familiar, but it's still fun. I like it. I don't feel like they needed aliens personally, but if they wanted to make it more fun, they kind of had two directions, right? Like, more realism, what they called, like, NASA punk, or they could go in the direction of, like, making it fun, crazy, like Fallout. But Fallout's already kind of doing that with aliens and Area 51 and whatnot. We saw that in season 2. So, yeah. I don't think it really hurts them that much, but I think just anything interesting to encounter would be cool in Starfield. Okay. I think I've got everything I need to record this. Yeah, I think I got everything I need. Yeah. All right, let's do this live. Let me just again as a heads up, because y'all have never seen me record a video live like this. You've seen me do Matty Slop, but it's a little bit different. There's not gonna be anything that pops up on screen. So you're just gonna watch me talk at the camera for probably 20 minutes in a more educated manner. Now that I've, like, seen this, we've processed it for we've been live for an hour and yeah, 16 now, so we've kind of digested this all, and now we're gonna put all those thoughts together. No need for, like, notes this time though. This is like one of those stories where I just need, like, kind of the raw emotion of it all. But I thought having aliens would be more realistic since there's so many planets. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think it's a bad thing that I don't know. I think they could have put more, because humanity embraced the stars in Starfield. So I think they just need more pockets of life. That would have been more interesting to me. Manny, I'm so glad to see the channel is still up and working even after the debacle last stream. What are you talking about? Thank you though. But yeah. Okay. Anyway, let me make sure super chats, alert box chat is all off, because that's the other thing. You guys are just going to watch me literally record a video straight up, and, like, that means nothing's going to be on screen. It's going to be me talking, but, like, this is peak efficiency. So let's do it. You guys get to watch me fuck up in real time. This will be fun. Let me get Audacity as well. I need a backup. And then let's do this thing, man. And then from here, we're going to let the rest of the Matty Slop stream rip. I still want to talk about the Todd Howard stuff. I still want to, like, get all of that going because we have to take care of that channel. Okay. Where are my screenshots? Okay. You guys get to watch the salutations live too and everything. This is fun. All right. A little nervous. This is different from Matty Slop because now I'm, like, actually pressured to put on a better performance. With Matty Slop, I'm like, if I fuck up, I fuck up. Okay. Let's do this. Let's see if I can get this first try. That'd be nice. My wife certainly knows better than anyone, though. When I, like, record videos, you're going to watch me do 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to clap. Like, if I fuck up a bunch of times at the start of a video, like, she hears me do that a million times here. My phone's, like, blowing up, bro. All right. Parker, to answer your super chat, thank you for supporting. I do still have a Patreon. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend signing up. Like, if you want to become a member, it's probably more valuable right now because, like, you can support the streams that way and you get, like, emoticons. But, like, the Patreon, I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do with it. Okay, let me just check my screenshots here. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's do this. I got everything I need. All right, here we go, guys. Let's record a video live. I never thought I'd ever do this, but fuck it, dude. Okay. All right, let's start up Audacity. All right, we're rolling, and let's do this. Okay, here you go. This is the Matty process. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's do this. Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. I don't know why I'm approaching this so excitedly. This is like crazy. We got some breaking news that dropped today, February 20th, 2026. And for those of you who watched the live stream, I appreciate you dissecting this live with me. Today, we have learned that not only Phil Spencer, but also Sarah Bond are out at Xbox. This is after a lot of calls for change at Xbox. I mean, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we were just a few months removed now from like a bunch of studios shutting down late summer for Xbox, and a lot of people calling for people like Phil and Sarah to go. But I thought only one of them would go when that time came. Both are out, and I always envisioned Sarah Bond as the successor to Phil Spencer. But who's replacing them is the biggest part of the conversation here. Not just because of who's who, but when you learn the part of Microsoft they led and their portfolio, I don't find it to be the most encouraging here. What we're going to do here is go through a lot of Microsoft blog posts, because boy, oh boy, is there a lot of information, and there's one particular line in here that is hilarious. So let's get into it. If you're new here, you're into what's going on with Xbox. If they're called that for much longer, I always like to reference right here this game and how they have Microsoft here. I feel like this is inevitable at some point in time that we're not going to see Xbox as a logo. But if you're into whatever's happening with this green gaming brand, whatever they are called, consider subscribing. Let's get started with the Microsoft blog post here, which is labeled Let's get started with the Microsoft blog post here, which is labeled Asha Sharma named EVP and CEO of Microsoft Gaming. We have a bunch of messages to break down here. We have Satya Nadella's, we have Phil Spencer's, we have Matt Booty's, we have Asha's, and all of them bring different dimensions into the conversation. Satya is the message that we're going to lead off with because it sort of sets the standard for what to expect and where Microsoft's head is at right now, at least currently for gaming, though, as we know and have as we've historically covered, they just can't just like trust anything they say. Like, it's so hard to believe anything they say right now. And again, there's one particular line we're going to get into where I'm like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. And I have a good reason as to why. So Satya's message opens up saying that gaming has been a part of Microsoft from the start. Flight Simulator shipped before Windows, and you can practically ray trace a line from DirectX in the 90s to the accelerated compute era we're in today. I get a kick out of that already. Like, gamers, I know what you're talking about. I can ray trace a line. Anyway, that all aside here, keep in mind this is Xbox's 25th anniversary, and it was kind of an exciting year, right? Like, here come the 4 pillars of Xbox, the 4 horsemen, your Gears, your Fable, Forza, Halo, and now their leaders are gone. It's always something. It's always something. And honestly, with what happened with Bluepoint, Xbox just basically said, hold my beer. Anyway, they say as we celebrate Xbox's 25th anniversary, the opportunity and innovation agenda in front of us is expansive. Today, we reach over 500 million monthly active users and are a top publisher across all platforms, continuing to innovate across gaming hardware, content, and community in service of creators and players everywhere. One of the key statements from Satya here is he says, I am long on gaming and its role at the center of our consumer ambition. As we look ahead, I'm excited to share that Asha Sharma will become the executive VP and CEO for Microsoft Gaming, reporting to me. This chain is important to lay out here, by the way, because the chain is now Satya, Asha, and then Matt Booty. And that is the most interesting part as well to me, is that, like, I thought for sure Matt Booty, who's been there for so long, would rise as sort of the head of Microsoft Gaming because he's been there with Phil and Sarah for so long. But here comes Asha, who's been with the company for a couple of years now, and we're going to get into her work history, and she is leading Xbox. And I think there's a very, very obvious reason why if you start to read between the lines here. Also, interesting to see Microsoft is long on gaming, but I think it's because they're trying to make it align with their AI-focused endeavors. So let's get into Asha's work history a little bit here. He writes, over the last 2 years at Microsoft and previously as CEO... let me try it one more time. Over the past 2 years at Microsoft and previously as Chief Operating Officer at Instacart and a Vice President at Meta, Asha helped build and scale services that reach billions of people and support thriving consumer and developer ecosystems. She brings deep experience building and growing platforms, aligning business models to long-term value, and operating at a global scale, which will be critical to leading our gaming business in its next era of growth. And I think when you start to learn more about Asha, you'll understand that growth target. And it aligns exactly with everything you've heard about Microsoft in the last couple of years here. Before we get to that, Matt Booty got promoted. Yeah. 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 He will become Executive Vice President and Chief Content Officer, reporting to Asha. And they talk a little bit about his career across handling the 40 studios under Xbox, Bethesda, and Activision. Okay, big question here. Who is Asha Sharma? I've never heard of this name before, so who is she? Well, Microsoft has a blog post breaking down who she is and where she was currently at in the Microsoft ecosystem, and now she's over at Microsoft Gaming. Asha Sharma was the president of Core AI. Core AI, as you can see here, they introduce it as a platform and tool system on their Microsoft blog post. They say, as we begin a new year, it's clear that we're entering the next innings of this AI platform shift. 2025 will be about the model-forward applications that reshape all application categories. More so than any previous platform shift, every layer of the application stack will be impacted. It's akin to GUI, internet servers, and cloud-native databases all being introduced into the app stack simultaneously. 30 years of change is being compressed into 3 years. We will build agentic applications with memory, entitlements, and action space that will inherit powerful model capabilities, and we will adapt these capabilities for enhanced performance and safety across roles, business processes, and industry domains. Further, how we build, deploy, and maintain code for these AI applications is also fundamentally changing and becoming agentic. This is leading to a new AI-first app stack, one with new UI and UX patterns, runtimes to build agents, orchestrate multiple agents, and reimagine management and observability layer. In this world, Azure must become the infrastructure for AI while we build our AI platform and developer tools spanning Azure AI Foundry, GitHub, and VS Code on top of it. In other words, our AI platform and tools will span together to create agents, and these agents will come together to change every SaaS application category and building custom applications which will be driven by software or services of software. Okay, so the head of all of that is who's taking over Microsoft Gaming. And I'm not out here fooling myself that whoever takes over any big corporation like an Xbox has to be a gamer. What we learned very quickly during the Phil Spencer era is that he's an exec like anyone else, right? He's going to say one thing, do another. He's got to worry about making money. Like, just because he enjoys Xbox and has a high gamer score doesn't really mean that, like, he's going to just ignore his responsibilities and his obligations to shareholders. So you could argue that might be a good thing to have because, of course, I think of projects like Ninja Gaiden 4 where I go, hey, that probably wouldn't have existed without like Matt, Sarah, and Phil. And that's why it's good to have a gamer in a seat sometimes, because we see what happens with PlayStation. Again, Xbox having their hold my beer moment, but like PlayStation in their bean counter era with Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst will be studied for generations because of how bad it's gone. They had a simple layup. Hey, do it again. And they decided to go all in on live service, and it's killed them. It's killed prominent studios like Bluepoint, who they tried to have make a live service God of War game. The industry is all upside down right now. So again, the head of Core AI is now your head of Xbox. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and go like, here's the positive spin. I don't look at this and go, yes. Outside of some change and some fresh people looking at Xbox differently, I'm not sitting here going, yes. And the only reason I'm not hyped about it is because I look at this and think, oh, Core AI. Now that head is leading this, and Microsoft is like slobbering over AI. So let's read a little bit about Asha based on what's here on the Microsoft blog. They say Asha Sharma is president leading product development for Microsoft's core AI product. In this role, she oversees the teams and technologies that power AI across Microsoft and its enterprise customers, spanning critical infrastructures, foundation models, and end-to-end tool chains for building, managing, and deploying AI and agentic applications. Her portfolio includes Azure AI Foundry, Azure OpenAI Service, Azure Machine Learning, Responsible AI, AI Search, customizable APIs, and Azure AI Services. She also leads applied engineering, computational engineering, and growth for Microsoft's core AI division. Prior to joining Microsoft, Sharma was the COO at Instacart, which we've already read, where she was overseeing product design, data science, research, marketing, operations, customer support, and new business initiatives. Earlier, as vice president of product at Meta, she oversaw Messenger, Direct. Let me try it one more time. See, told you all. These are the moments I make Dan's life hard. Earlier, as vice president of product at Meta, she oversaw Messenger, Instagram Direct, Messenger Kids, remote presence, calling and video, and company-wide platform services. So yeah, when I saw Meta the first time, my first thought was like, okay, you know what? Meta had a good run with games. I know it's kind of gone up in flames, but that's because a lot of people didn't buy into VR in the way that Meta was hoping to, but they've established great content portfolios. No, like she wasn't involved in that part of Meta at all. She's been at Microsoft a very short time, and her main time at Microsoft is spent on core AI. Now she's leapfrogging over to Xbox. That screams to me we have a new initiative, and given that Phil and Sarah are out, this reads to me like Satya had an idea, and this was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. It hasn't felt like Matt, Sarah, and Phil's Xbox for a while based on how this generation started. But now when you see this is who's coming on over, I can't sit here and be like, I'm super confident about all of this. So Phil shared a message on the Microsoft blog post, and he talks a little bit about his time at Xbox, how when he walked through the doors, he had no idea how many lives he'd impact. It's a lot of corporate speak. He does clarify here in the middle paragraph that he says that Asha Sharma will be stepping into the role, and he says, I want to be the first to welcome her. He's been working with her over the past several months. She brings curiosity, clarity, deep commitment, etc., etc. And he says that he'll remain in an advisory role through the summer to support a smooth handoff. So I don't know when exactly like the line is crossed where like eventually it's the Asha Sharma era. Cause like, remember we had like Sean Lade and Andrew House during the PS4 era. And it wasn't until a couple of years into PS5, you really felt Jim Ryan's fingerprints all over that. Right. And then Herman Hulst with another greenlit set of Horizon games all over that. So it takes some time to feel that stuff. So Xbox, it doesn't mean they're immediately doomed, but outside of like 2026, yeah, you could kind of look at it and go, what's going to happen then with a head of core AI now championing Xbox? But Phil's at least hanging around for a little bit. He's not exactly out now. This is where we learned that Sarah Bond was out. He said, as part of this transition, Sarah Bond has decided to leave Microsoft to begin a new chapter. Sarah's been instrumental during a defining period for Xbox, shaping our platform strategy, expanding Game Pass and cloud gaming, supporting new hardware launches, and guiding some of the most significant moments in our history. So think of it this way. You're head of Xbox who's been like championing all these acquisitions, Game Pass, gone. The other one who is kind of the face of Xbox, who is out there championing like, we're teaming with AMD, we have a new console, back compat. That was a lot of Sarah Bond. And what's interesting about all of this, to me, she's the most shocking element of it all. She doesn't even have a statement right now. Not in anything Microsoft's put out there. And to me, again, I can't not read between the lines. We're talking about Microsoft PR speak right now. You cannot take this at face value. So when I look at this and I see Sarah's got nothing to say, she's leaving as a duo with Phil, and Phil's announcing that for her, and you see who's stepping in to fill Phil's shoes, oh my God, like it's so obvious that this is not going to go well, that this is going to be a new era of like AI. And I don't know if that means Gen AI games, but do I see a world where like, based on what I saw Disney was doing with Disney Plus, where they're like, hey, here's our properties and you can make like AI content with it. Like, get the hell out of here, dude. But could I see Xbox doing that with like a free Game Pass tier? Sure. And I can see that's where they're going. Now, Asha Sharma also shared a message here. Again, a lot of corporate speak. She says, I feel two things at once, humility and urgency. She's humbled because, you know, it's extraordinary what's been built here, even though a wrecking ball has flown through it this entire generation. She's thankful to Phil. She starts with 3 commitments, though. This is where it gets really interesting. and a little bit hilarious in my opinion. She says, first, it starts out with great games. Everything begins here. We must have great games beloved by players before we do anything. Unforgettable characters, stories that make us feel, innovative gameplay, and creative excellence. We will empower our studios, invest in iconic franchises, and back bold new ideas. We will take risks. We will enter new categories and markets where we can add real value, grounded in what players care about most. I promoted Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. He understands the craft and the challenges of building great games. And this is funny because out of anyone at Xbox, this is the dude people have been calling to be fired probably the most because of like how the Xbox portfolio has been handled. And I talk about it exhaustingly, right? I always go back to this example, but it's like the games like a Hellblade 2 or a South of Midnight that took forever to come out. The way like Redfall strolled out and we were just okay with that. Like it's probably too much for one person to handle. That much I can sympathize with, but I can't always say like Matt's done an excellent job. So this is just a really fierce duo now, right? We got AI and we've got Matt Booty. And so I just feel a whole mixture of like where this can go here. But okay, they're committing to great games. And in fairness, Xbox has recently published a lot of good stuff. Like we were talking about it on our live stream, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Hell yeah. One of my favorite games this generation. Like Xbox can do it. And I hope this year with like Fable, they continue to do it. I'm excited about that stuff. This is where it gets interesting. Second, the return of Xbox. We will recommit to our core Xbox fans and players. Just right there, pause. That's an interesting choice of words. Recommit to core players and fans. Like they acknowledge we've gotten away from it. Again, I look at this and do I believe it wholeheartedly? No, but do I look at it and think to myself, what could this lead to? I have ideas. I have theories. Does this mean Xbox is going back to a traditional way of doing things? Absolutely not. But okay, like not leaving the core Xbox fans in the dust is probably a good idea. There's like 30 plus million of them just on series consoles alone. That's money to be made. Why would you walk away from that? I don't know. Ask Satya. She continues that they've invested in us for these past 25 years and to the developers who build the expansive universes and experiences that embrace. Let me try that again. She continues saying those who have invested with us for the past 25 years and to the developers who build the expansive universes and experiences that are embraced by... Fuck! One more time. Okay. Those who have invested in us for the past 25 years and the developers who build the expansive universes and experiences that are embraced by players across the world. We will celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. It connects us to the players and the fans who invest in Xbox and to developers who build ambitious experiences for it. At first you read this, you go, oh, console. Whoa, hang on. Next line, please. Gaming now lives across devices, not within the limits of any single piece of hardware. As we expand across PC, mobile, and cloud, Xbox should feel seamless, instant, and worthy of the communities we serve. We will break down barriers so developers can build once and reach players everywhere without compromise. So another thing that Sarah Bond really pushed, from my understanding, was Xbox Play Anywhere. And I think that was a great initiative, by the way. I think it was just a little undercooked and like, some games supported it, some didn't. It seemed like it was a money situation at times. Other times it seemed like developers just weren't interested because they wanted players to double dip and buy a game multiple times. But nonetheless here, when you see console, we're still talking PC console hybrid, right? Like nothing there has really changed here. This is the funniest part to me. This is the part where stream viewers know Maddie burst out laughing. Third, future of play. We are witnessing the reinvention of play. That's scary words, right? Because we've seen Xbox make apps for smart TVs. They've made dongles so you could stream your games. They've embraced cloud gaming from the start. And by the way, cloud gaming is awesome. Like I use my PS Portal a lot. When the Xbox app didn't suck, I cloud gamed a ton through my Xbox. So it's fine as an alternative, but as the option is my concern. But you know, Xbox has been at the forefront of some of these things. Copilot for gaming, like, hey, catch me up on where I was in my story. And like, is Copilot going to start making suggestions to bail me out of certain situations in games? Hey, I'm stuck on this puzzle. Hey, I don't know what hero to use in Overwatch. Yeah, like that reinvention of play isn't a fun reinvention. She says, to meet the moment, we will invent new business models. I've already read this like 3 times now, but like processing that, new business models. Race to the bottom was very real for Xbox. They tried $80 games. Like, I am very, very morbidly curious what a new business model for Xbox looks like. They did a really great business model to open the generation. Series S was priced just right. Series X had a good price right there next to PS5. Game Pass was there. Xbox had a sort of pay-as-you-go approach to buying consoles at the start of the generation. Like, hey, you can't afford this $500 purchase? Pay for it over time. Microsoft Rewards was good. There were a lot of great business models to start off this gen. So now they're inventing new ones in the face of like AI, streaming, subscription services. Hold on to your seats. That's my take. Continuing on, she says that she wants to lean into what we already have. Iconic teams, characters, and worlds that people love. We will not treat those worlds as static IP to milk and monetize. We will build a shared platform and tools that empower developers and players to create and share their own stories. This reads to me a little bit like, again, what I was talking about with Disney. But then she says this, and I'm sure like Satya's eye twitched when he read this, like, you're kidding, right? As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art, crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us. Look, if like you didn't have the work history you did, and if you weren't just like, I looked at your work profile, it was like AI this, AI that, AI, and you're just suddenly leapfrogging over to the gaming division that you never had a history in, I find it very hard to believe that AI has nothing to do with this. To be fair, right now, the current working order at Xbox is like, hey, if you want to use AI for your games, you can. It's up to you, right? If it stays that way, great. But I've always said the eye of Satya is going to shine down on these teams and he's going to be like, why are we investing in all these tools and no one's using them? Our investors don't like that no one's using these tools. It becomes a problem when they're not being used. And obviously, we've seen Microsoft, OpenAI, we've seen all these tool sets. We've seen all these creators of AI tool sets begin to panic because no one's really using them and they're ruining their products and people are going elsewhere. You know, we're starting to see like a real rise of like Linux, SteamOS. Like these things are becoming more and more prominent, more and more in the mainstream a little bit. Are they ever going to fully overtake Windows? No. But the fact that they're really in the conversation now shows where Microsoft is at. And keep in mind, we ended 2025 with Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, saying we need to move past slop versus sophistication. This guy was saying that y'all don't get it. And he was asking you to stop calling AI slop. And now we have the head of Xbox telling you we're not going to embrace soulless AI slop. Do we really believe this with how much of a hard-on Satya's got for AI? I don't. So I'm sorry. Pardon my negativity. You know I don't like to do it that way. But pardon me for trusting my gut here. Because I don't look at this and go, yeah, you know what? Good. Yeah, I believe that. If they prove me wrong, hell yeah. No one will be screaming at the top of the mountain, thank you, more than me, because I don't want the industry to go down this road. But do I trust Microsoft to handle it well? Right now, absolutely not here. So she concludes saying the next 25 years belong to the teams who dare to build something surprising, something no one else is willing to try, and have the patience to see it through. We have done this before, and I'm here to help us do it again. I want to return to the renegade spirit that built Xbox in the first place. It will require us to relentlessly question everything, revisit processes, protect what works, and be brave enough to change what does not. And so there you go, like another kind of just like warning shot, in my opinion there. And I'm trying to look between the lines here of like what's positive. Like I like the idea of renegade spirit Xbox, bro. Let me pull some games off my shelf here. Here's a renegade right here. That's a renegade. Oddworld Bunches Odyssey. Here's another one right here. Boom. Death Row. That's a renegade. That's a renegade Xbox exclusive. Hey, hang on. I got another one right here. Hang on. Conquer. Renegade. Hold on. Blinks. Renegade. Like, yeah, you bring me back to this, dude, I will never complain again. I will never complain again. Weird Xbox kicked so much ass. Obviously, they brought me the gold. They brought me the best game ever. So, yeah, like, I love some of the energy here, like Renegade Xbox, going back to that fierce competitive spirit. It's just the history and whatnot, man. It's a little worrying. And then we conclude here with a message from Matt Booty, who talks about Phil Spencer's note, how he's looking forward to partnering with Asha. He said our first conversations centered on her commitment to making great games and the role that plays in overall success. She asks questions, pushes for clarity, and wants our choices grounded in player and developer needs. That mindset matters as much as the industry around us is changing quickly, how players engage, how games are made, and how business models and platforms evolve. Keep in mind, Matt Booty's the one who said, and I think this was a great quote from him, he said that you're competing for time nowadays. Like you're competing against TikTok. That's like one of our biggest competitors, not PlayStation. And that's true. There's just so much content. Like right now, I'm competing for your gaming time. Technically, like I don't think Xbox looks at me directly and goes, that's a competitor. But do they look at YouTube as a platform and go, that's a competitor? 1,000%, because everyone's trying to, content is great nowadays. There's a lot of shit, but content's great nowadays. So they're fighting for your time here. And he concludes saying, my focus is on supporting the teams and leaders we have in place and creating the conditions for them to do their best work. To be clear, there are no organizational changes underway for our studio. So he's basically saying like, hey, the only people getting out of here is the CEO and our president. But otherwise, no changes at all for any studios or anything at all. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the update on Phil Spencer. That's the update on Sarah Bond. And look, I'm one of the people who call for change. I'm interested in change. I thought one of the old guards or someone in the Xbox system would rise to the top. To see this leapfrog, I'm just like, well, Xbox is already being stripped for parts, we've seen, and I feel it's only just going to accelerate that. It's very clear. I think the writing's on the wall. So I'm not super optimistic about this. I can't be, but it's not like I was optimistic when Phil and Sarah were at the top recently. So that's where I sit now. It'll be very interesting to watch this unfold. Obviously, there's a lot of key words here, key statements that I'm looking at and thinking to myself, okay, new business models. What does that look like? Renegade spirit of Xbox. What does that look like? What does the Asha Sharma era of Xbox look like in general? What's her vision for Xbox? And I hope maybe they're aggressive with Asha. Like, get her out there. Get her start talking. Establish her. That I think would be really important. Put her in a good spot to succeed. Because one thing I've talked about is sometimes like there were statements that Phil was making that, or I'm sorry, there were statements that Sarah was making that Phil should have sometimes been making. I felt like Sarah was out there like catching a bullet for Phil. And I think like they need to sort of treat Asha in a way where like, dude, if she sucks, like you gotta like you think it's bad now. If she's bad and people don't like her, it's going to get way worse than it already was. So I hope they put her in a position of strength, have her champion some really good things, rebuild the brand in a positive way. And hey, if that is how it turns out, I'm all here for the Asha Sharma era. All right. As always, rooting for Xbox, but always the skeptic given the recent couple of years we've experienced with this company. So let me know what you think down below. For those who watch me record this live, thank you. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, check out our stream. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace. There you have it. Matty Process Live. That was like 26 minutes too. Holy shit. How did I do, guys? How did I do? I'm sorry it was like just 25 minutes of me just literally talking to the screen and you had nothing to look at, but like, that was fun. That was fun. I don't know if I'll ever do that again, but like, that was fun. Nice and efficient. Clearly, I had a lot on my mind about it. Sometimes that's the beauty of recording videos is you just find thoughts you didn't know you had. Get all my games back on the shelf here. Death Row. There we go. How the sausage is made. Great. Time flew fast and natural. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you. It's like the one thing I'm okay at in life. All right, Dan, if you're watching, dude, let me get the video your way. And then we'll get back to our plan for Matty Slop. We're going to still do all that. I just got to shoot my wife a text real quick and let her know. I mean, she was in chat, so she knows what's going on, but I'm going to shoot her a text and just let her know what I was thinking and just keep the beautiful wifey up to date. I hope this doesn't crash the stream, me uploading these files. It's a little bit risky, but I'm gonna really trust the fiber optic here. I'm just gonna put all my faith in it. Hey, if it starts like bogging down, I apologize. Oh, it's 21 gigabytes. I'm gonna go for it. All right, here we go. This is like the ultimate internet test. Oh, I'm kind of nervous. If it starts fucking up, I apologize, but it'll be like a few minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay, we're good. And then we'll get our other shit going. All right. Sorry, y'all. I apologize. I'm doing business live here. Oh, he heard. Okay, cool. I didn't know if you were still here, Dan. Let me take 2 seconds here just to call my wife. I don't know if she's watching this stream, but give me 2 seconds just to call her and let her know what I'm thinking. 1 sec, guys. She isn't answering. Babe, you're in chat. Why didn't you answer my phone call? What's going on? Why are you not answering my... You know what? Whatever. Whatever. Oh, she's calling me back. Hang on. Give me 1 sec. I literally heard in the background because the stream was delayed. She's like just hanging up as I was like complaining that she didn't pick up. Okay, let me catch up on some super chats, guys. Asha took her. Asha Sharma abducted my wife. Do you think a Phil Spencer interview can happen now? If he wants to talk, yeah, I mean, sure. I don't know if like Phil shares any of my grievances with Xbox or if he's like genuinely happy about where it is. I don't have a direct line to Phil, so maybe Cog. Cog has a direct line to Phil. I think he has a better chance. I think if I'm Phil, I would go talk to someone like Cog, not me. I'll ask them more, like not because like I'm a better interviewer, but I think like Cog has been very like open and fair and taken it as it's come along. I've been very much like, man, fuck this. AI, more like, why? Thanks for letting us see the slot behind the shine. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't have any of the... Sorry, guys. Let me get everything back up now. My pleasure, by the way. Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. You know, it's not going to be a constant thing, but that was like I know the video's expected. Like, I know I need to be out today. Like, that sort of... For those who are new to content creation, like day of shit, like that extreme matters. That made my heart skip a beat when Phil left because I'm just like, there's going to be a day I read that headline and Todd's out, man. I don't want to see that day. I hope Todd keeps saying he's hanging around, but like, oh, God. As long as Todd stays in gaming. I'd love to see Todd go independent. That would be fucking awesome. I learned some stuff watching that. It will help me in my own videos. Now I just need to watch over your editor's shoulder to see how he processes all that, or Attic specifically with what he does with mine. I'm always, yeah, you can always shoot me questions, bro. I know I owe you like a bunch of DMs back, but like, you can always shoot me questions. I'm happy to help. I sat down with Kiwi Talks last night. He called me on Discord because he had some questions about like just getting stuff done, and like a lot of it's just like the planner. Like I have like 3 different planners. I have a planner for Retro Rebound, a planner for my life. I have a planner for what games I play and when I'm playing them. Like I just really, I'm not great at it. Like I fucked up last night. I was up till like 4 a.m. playing a Resident Evil game, recorded a video at 4 a.m. and like it, you know, there's just some days I'm like flying by the seat of my pants. Like it's not perfect. It takes sacrifice too. I have to check. Have you checked out Windrose? Looks promising. I'll make a note. I have not checked that one out. This is carrot and orange juice. So we squeeze some oranges, we squeeze some carrots, mix it together. Is Phil done with gaming for good? Good question, Assassin. If I'm him, I'm probably done for a while. Yeah. Unless Phil loves games and like he just sees what's happening with Microsoft. Where Phil lands next will be telling. If Phil lands in somewhere in gaming pretty soon as like a big exec, imagine this guy goes to PlayStation. Let's just dream for a little bit. Imagine this guy goes to PlayStation. Can you imagine that? He's like, I'm excited to begin my journey at PlayStation. That shit would be so funny. Dan, if you're still here in chat, the files have a minute left. I guess we have like fucking really great internet because holy hell. The fact that we didn't like skip a beat on stream and stuff. My poor wife though, she uses the internet for her work, and I've no doubt like tanked us. So I owe her an extra slice of pizza tonight. All right, it's Phil Spencer audio. Forgot to give Dan the individual audio so that in case anything fucks up on OBS's end. Where did I put it? I'm blanking. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Sorry guys, I'm out of business mode now. I'm starting to realign my focus because now we're gonna get settled into our originally planned Matty Slop stream. And shout out to Dan for again, like really like this is so people ask me like, how do you get so much stuff done? Like Dan's a perfect example of why. Like I'm really grateful to guys like him who just like are able to make things happen for the channel. Otherwise, you don't get a video today because like I'm not available to edit. So, you know, it's just like you can't be above the process. Like I still edit stuff for the channel occasionally, but like Dan really holds it down. And so that's a great example of like how we're able to get it done. So just like if anyone's ever looking to build their own channel, like dude, get a good team. That wasn't really my original intent because I tried to do everything on my own. But like once I started to, you know, bring in editors, it changed everything. It made it so much more fun, so much more collaborative. So yeah, send Dan some love, man. He's putting in the work today. I appreciate him a lot. The video will probably be out very late tonight because it is a 26-minute recording, and you know, that takes some time. But Dan's good for it. So if it ends up being later, of course, too, I definitely dropped it in his lap. So I'm not saying that to pressure him. If it ends up being later, that's fine too. I'm just happy we got it recorded today. When Todd does eventually leave, is there a particular person you think will take his place, or will Bethesda have a permanent void? I think it's a permanent void. They've not established any sort of like protege yet, like a young Todd Howard, who like gets Bethesda the way he does. And like Todd's a very unique situation of like, he's the reason they survived and thrived and are relevant. So he's like a Vince Zampella to me. He's like irreplaceable. But yeah, I would just clone Todd. Just clone Todd. Save the industry and show us your game. Give it some time. We're getting to that point. We're getting to that point. Where do you find editors? I was talking to my friend about this. I have been really lucky that like when I got Dan reached out to me. Locke I knew through Last Stand. Josh was recommended to me by the As Always guys. So Lasers, for those who don't know, like he does like really nice Ubisoft. Well, he did do a lot of Ubisoft retrospectives. Now he does like a lot more general gaming coverage, but Lasers was the one who vouched for Josh, and Josh has been my longest standing editor, right next to Locke. But yeah, Josh was there on the team, since the very beginning. But I found him through there. And then Emmett reached out to me for editing work. And I pitched him the whole Matty Slop idea, sort of like, hey, I don't have space for a new editor, but like I can give you this opportunity if you really want to make this all happen. And he, as the ambitious man he is, jumped for it. And so that's how that was possible. So I've been very lucky. But my first editor, like I put out a tweet and, you know, got some recommendations. When it comes to looking for one, I mean, there are like, you can go on Reddit. My friend used Reddit, and like he was just like looking through editors on Reddit, and you know, there's plenty available. It's also just a great skill to learn. Like I would always recommend starting off on your own, because then people start to think editors are magicians who can make anything happen, and they can't. They shouldn't be treated like that either. So it's good to like teach yourself the skill set for your business. Like if you're going to make videos, learn how to make videos and learn how to make your thumbnails, and then work with someone to make them better. That was something I learned very late. Hire Phil to rep my game, dude. Phil fucking lie about it. Todd said he's not thinking about retirement the same way anymore, but I'm not convinced he is just saying that. He isn't just saying that. Yeah, like right, DeMarco, like he is like to be fair, he did admit he was thinking about it at one point, which I never really processed. Like he was thinking about it at one point, but he's like, yeah, I'm just like, I love it. So in my hopes, like I know people hate Todd. But whatever, bro. This is my goat. Like I'm ride or die in Todd, you know? So, you know, it doesn't mean you can be like not critical about him, but like, you know, I still am very thankful for all the games he's made, and I still look forward to what he lays his hands on, because he's earned that legend status for me. But it feels like we have another decade of him, you know? Certainly after like Starfield not going well and 76 not going well, this guy has had his moments to jump ship. But I feel like I do believe a little bit of like there's always something that's kind of getting him excited. So what's up, GT Dream? Yeah, it's a slow news day today. That's true, Iron Rook. If Phil says he enjoyed my game, that shit would be canceled. Asha dumped her account and started brand new on Twitter. Yeah, see, like, what's up with that? What's she hiding? How do you feel about AI improving procedural generation? That's the thing, is that I feel like Starfield, as much as I like parts of it, the handcrafted parts of it, I do like a lot. Like I think of like the UC Vanguard quest line, I thought was great. There are other quest lines like the oh my god, yeah, like Starfield has some forgettable stuff too, man. But like the quest line where you're like rising up a corporate ladder, and it's very much a corporate espionage. Good idea, but because of all the loading screens and the walking and talking, it's very boring. But outside of that, with all of the different like planets and stuff, Starfield to me is a very much like a telling sign of like what could gaming be like if made by AI, right? Where they generate all these cells and they're filled with like handcrafted stuff. Like they handcrafted those caves, but they're just randomly placed, so it's a mixture of handcrafted and not handcrafted. I get where Todd distinguishes it, but it's like a sign of like what a game made by AI can feel like. So I'm like, where could they improve it? I don't know. I don't want them to do that stuff. I don't think they have to handcraft everything, but like they were already using procedural gen tech a lot. Like all of their landmasses, as far as I know, since, actually this might go further back. I was going to say Morrowind, I know for sure was like procedural generated landmass and they built on top of it. But, I mean, we'll talk about Daggerfall in a little bit. That game is way big and that was not handcrafted. So it's part of their DNA. It's interesting to hear Todd kind of take that approach to AI where he's like, no, not really. I thought if anyone would be pro AI based on their history, it would be him. But, you know, it's got to be handcrafted. And I hope they understand that. In fact, that'll be our first topic. Look, we're 2 hours in. Let's get this started. I'm acting like we still got a lot of time here. We got a lot of Matty slop to tear through here. So here for the actual show, now that we're 2 hours in, here are the things that we're looking to do today. I've got 3 stories. One is revisiting the Blue Point story. One is chatting Elder Scrolls 6 with you guys. The other is talking about Bethesda remakes here. We have some other stories about Highguard being funded by Tencent. I want to talk about PlayStation exclusivity. But obviously, given the length of this stream, I'm like, okay, let me like work with what's at the top of the list here that I really wanted to get into. So, and also like the Bethesda stuff's doing really well on Matty Slop. It seems like people are enjoying it. I want to get some more conversational stuff and not just news reactivity. So I want to have that here, kind of build off of the Todd Howard interview. Hey, we got some new members here. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to, hold on. Who's the other one? Grubby the Great. Great name. Dave, good to see you though, man. You've always been a long time supporter and I appreciate you. So yeah, we got 3 stories. Maybe 4. We'll see how quickly we go through it all. I'm not going to rush it all. Like certainly we got time, but like I'm just trying to be conscious of everyone's time here. Okay. Let's get into our first topic here. Before we have a super chat though. Rook again, the homie. There's a solid monetization mod for Daggerfall that works well. The game still slaps in 2026 and Morrowind are the 2 best games in the series. You're talking about Unity? Because if so, yeah, I was looking at that last night and like that looks very nice. We'll talk about it here. Let me get my headphones going here because there's a couple of videos I want to show you guys for this one. Our first topic is going to be, like I said, about Bethesda remakes. Sort of where this industry is at with remakes, and then where Bethesda could or should be. Like, should Bethesda embrace remakes is kind of the topic I wanted to dive into today. Again, you know me, like one of those more like, it's like a Matty topic, right? Like if I put this on the main channel, like I've tried to do in the past, people are like, bro, like we make a video about anything, but like this is perfect for Matty Slop. So I wanted to kind of peel at some extra layers from the Todd Howard interview and get into that a little bit here today. So let's get started with what y'all actually tuned in for. How about that? Let me get OBS up as well. Okay. Do I have my notes here? I do. Okay. I have all my links up. Let me make sure everything's Gucci. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay, we're good. Okay. Let's talk about Bethesda and remasters and remakes. Remakes are all the rave, right? Like, we see them everywhere. Capcom is a wonderful example of why remakes work so well, right? Because here you've got Resident Evil 2 Remake, which we have learned sold 15 million copies. And despite Resident Evil 3 Remake delivering for a lot of people, 9.6 million copies sold is nothing to scoff at, right? That's a great combined sales metric. These were games that released in like the same year window. Like, remember, Resident Evil 3 Remake came out very quickly after RE2 Remake. So they sold 20 plus million copies on just those alone. This would give birth to more remakes across the industry, particularly in survival horror. Like, EA would go on to do Dead Space Remake. God bless. Amazing job. Never did a Dead Space 2 remake. Never did a Dead Space 4. Kills my soul. I wanted to see what a Dead Space 3 remake would look like. But nonetheless, remakes are all the rave for all the right reasons and all the wrong reasons. It's like a safe game to make, right? So I think of Konami getting back into game development. Hey, let's do Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Let's remake Metal Gear Solid 3 very faithfully. It's easy money. We won't touch any of the Kojima-isms here. We're going to put it out to the audience. Easy couple million sold. And that's exactly what it was. There are remakes that are a little more ambitious and rethink it. I think of something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? But we're in this era of remakes and remasters here. And when it comes to Todd Howard, historically, he has not been a fan of remasters here. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Todd said back in 2018 when speaking to The Guardian about remasters, because his stance has changed a little bit, if Oblivion Remastered is anything to go by. We see here, they write, Howard also demurred on something that fans are constantly asking for, especially since Skyrim was released on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, and that's modern remasters of Bethesda's older games. He says, quote, I'm happy that you can play Morrowind now on Xbox One as it's backwards compatible. I'm really happy that Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and others are making it easier for people to play older games as they were played at that time. I actually prefer that over remasters, he says. I'd rather you play Morrowind, I almost said Microsoft, the way it was. I think the age is part of its identity. Speaking to Skyrim, he says, for Skyrim Remastered, we had done some work on it, but it was already pretty visually close. But for something like Morrowind, my personal preference is to not remaster it. We also get asked a lot to remaster Fallout 1, and I usually say if you have a PC, you can play Fallout the way it was. I think that's how it should be. I think streaming technology is definitely coming, and it's going to make people's access to games infinitely easier. You've seen it happen to music and movies, and I think that's a great thing. So I really do respect Todd's approach to this all. Like, Bethesda did always back their talk of why not go and make something new, because we don't need to remaster these things. Their games are readily available. To be fair, like Skyrim, they've re-released so many times. I'm like, you're kind of talking out of both sides of your mouth here, Todd boy, but like, whatever. At the end of the day, I respect it. If you want to keep making new experiences, go for it. But as their games get older and they become less accessible to certain audiences, or there are versions of their games that are just bad, like Fallout 3 on any Bethesda game on PS3, to be honest, like, yeah, a remaster can do something right for that community. Just, it's the same thing, ported over, tightened up a little bit more, great. But Todd was never for remasters. This really hurt our soul, and especially it hurt us when Fallout needed some new content and we weren't ready. They weren't ready to give us any. So this is like one of those moments where we can look at a lot of calls that Todd has made and critique them. I think this is one that he probably regrets, because the pressure is so high for all of these IP to deliver, and the answer was obvious, and now they're finally doing it. So what I want to do is take a listen to Todd's recent answer on the Kinda Funny Gamescast interview here, where Greg asked a lot of great questions, and we learned how Todd feels about remaster now. So let's kick back and take a listen here. Oh, hang on. My bad, guys. Hang on. I forgot to turn on my speakers. Let me do that again. Sorry about that. Hang on.
Fallout 5, of course, that's happening.
Multiple. Yeah, the multiple is still the number. Yeah.
Let's get to the point here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Oblivion, surprise remaster launch, that was a big hit, right?
It was huge, actually.
People love
yeah.
that. That seems like a great thing to do with all sorts of Fallout games.
There we go.
Yeah, I would say I'm softened on the whole remaster thing. There was a lot of conversation about, hey, should we remaster some of our games? You look at your catalog, you say, what's the right thing to do? We felt Oblivion was the right one. I am very still, this is only for like the stuff we've made here that I've made.
Sure.
I'm sort of anti-remake. I respect the other ones out there, but I think part of the age of a game is part of it's part of what it is, like its personality and what it represented when it came out. And so as we approached Oblivion, I definitely wanted it to be a remaster, but kind of the absolute best version of that you can imagine. And so the original game, was important to us that the original game was running. It was like, okay, well, imagine you had patched that game many, many, many times for like many years. You had patched it. What would you have done? And so we sort of took that approach with sprinting and some other things. And then graphically, let's just make it look modern, but still in the style it was, right? So we're not gonna redesign the armor to be something new in the Elder Scrolls. It's like that version of it looking the way you kind of remember, but up-res. So, I mean, that was our approach to that game. And
so I really like this approach. I think it kind of rethinks remasters in a way that does create a higher standard. I know that Oblivion Remastered disappointed a couple of people, myself included, a little bit because it was a little more difficult to play thanks to Unreal Engine 5, but I do like the idea and the mindset behind remasters. And as you can see here, his stance has softened, and there are some participating reasons as to why it may have softened, because I think now Todd and co, who seem to not like money, are like, oh, wow, people really like that. So here we have Circana, who collects all of the yearly sales. These are the top 10 selling games for 2025. This is for December 2025, so there's no mentioning of it here. But the top 10 selling games of the year. Number 1, Battlefield 6. Number 2, NBA 2K. Number 3, Borderlands 4. Number 4, Monster Hunter Wilds, which we know is a 10 million copy seller. Black Ops 7 at number 5. Madden NFL 26 at number 6. College football at 7. And then EA Sports FC at number 8. And then we have Oblivion Remastered at number 9. So this remaster that Bethesda was so against ends up becoming a top 10 selling game of the year. I do think that changes how you think about things, right? Because now you're like, whoa, okay, they wanted it that badly. And I think it was obvious in the first place, but we're here now. So whatever. To get a little bit of an idea of how well this sold, you can see right here that above Oblivion is EA Sports FC 26. So when I look here and I see that this game sold 10 million copies in 2 weeks, you have to imagine that, I know the player count for this game, Oblivion Remaster, was somewhere in like 13 plus million players. No sales were revealed, but for it to be a top 10 selling game and EA Sports FC ahead of it, you're talking close to or around 10 million copies at the very least. That's how many people showed out for this. And this is why I always say to people, like, yeah, you think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to flop, Bethesda doesn't have a chance in the world. I get it all. Like, we can talk about the quality of the game, but if y'all think it's not going to sell, you're not paying attention. This is a remaster, and it was in the top 10 selling games of the year, which says a lot about our industry. It was also safe for purchase, $50. That's another thing. $50 game, top 10 seller of the year. So those are the things that I think can lead to a change here, but also the way they're thinking about it. What I like, however, is that we're in this kind of give the people what they want era, and what could this be for Bethesda? Like, should they remake their games, or is their approach to remastering a little bit better? We actually covered this a while ago, but an ex-Bethesda dev in Bruce Smith talked about Morrowind and what it would be like to remaster that, or should it be remastered, or should it be remade? And here's what they write here on Eurogamer. In an interview with Pressbox UK, Nesmith spoke at length about the company's various projects he worked on. He left in 2021 during Starfield. He said, the problem with doing Morrowind is that I bet they don't have the original code. That game is old. I don't know if the original source code exists anymore. If it does, can you even compile it? When you're looking at Oblivion, they still had the code. They could still compile it. Putting the code into the new version of the engine was a possibility. He also raises concerns around how Morrowind is aged, doubting that the audience would even enjoy playing that game today. The other thing I would say is go back and play Morrowind and tell me that's the game you want to play again. We have all these fond memories of these that were pivotal moments in our gaming fantasy histories that we absolutely move, but you go back and play a 20-year-old game and you will cringe People even had cringe moments with the Oblivion remake, but they forgave it because they were reliving something. They're enjoying the nostalgia. I worked on Oblivion. I'm even responsible for some of those cringe moments. The further you go, the more that's going to be an issue. The reality of playing Morrowind is it would not stand the test of time, in my opinion. He says that instead, it'd be better to make something new within the Morrowind setting. So he shares that mindset of like, now, if you were to completely remake Morrowind with the Skyrim engine to try and rebuild it from the ground up, that's a whole other story, but that's an entire project. That's a whole 4-year development cycle. And in this world, that sounds great. Why not go and make something new, right? So this is the old school Bethesda mentality. They've moved on to remasters, but are they going to remaster everything, and do all of their games need a remaster? So I want to kind of sift through some of these and talk remake versus remaster, because I'm personally a big fan of Todd's take on being anti-remake, just because I don't think everything needs to be remade as well. I think it's boring. I think it's a cop-out, and a lot of these companies are just like fishing for cash here. So I'm going to bring up some gameplay on Morrowind here from a channel called You Play It Wrong, which was one of the few I could find like full 1080p gameplay of Morrowind. But you can see here, like, even with the combat, yeah, dude, like, this is a like the instant death and whatnot. This is an old game. As someone who is a Bethesda diehard, this is the one I've had the most trouble with. It's the one that I want to love, and I do love because I have a lot of memories with it, because it really is my first Bethesda game, but I have never beat Morrowind here. But this is a game that I think, like, with its combat, it is so hardcore, because for those who don't know, I always use this as an example. When you have like a sword skill, right? And you're trying your best to like hit an enemy and you're not making contact, that's because it's based on your skill. People nowadays would hate that. If I'm swinging at an enemy right in front of me and I'm not doing damage to them, this game looks beautiful, by the way, still. Like, this is also just like why a remaster would be great. But the combat, I think, would have to be reworked. Not because I want it to be reworked, but because I think that people would not accept it. Oblivion could be leveled up a little bit into Skyrim-style combat, which is what they did. But something like Morrowind, where it's all skill-based, it's a much more hardcore RPG. That, unfortunately, isn't as possible unless you fully remake it. And so is Bethesda interested in remaking a game? I don't think so, because Todd just said, I'm pretty anti-remake. But this does bring us to some other interesting conversations. Like, for example, I heard a lot of people saying, like, well, why not remake Daggerfall? And I feel like you just have to look at Starfield as to why they could do this with the technology they have. I found this great video by Josh Strife Says, and he describes the scale of Daggerfall and why, because of this, I don't think a remake would be possible. So let's take a listen. It's amazing how he contextualizes the scale here.
You don't understand how big this game is. Let me just explain this to you. All of these little segments of the map, not just the red flashing one, we can travel to. And they are all individual segments with huge amounts of adventure within them. And all the little dots are either towns or temples or churches or things. You see this little island just here, called Bethany. This island. That island is bigger than all of Skyrim.
Yeah, like, to me, that's crazy. And then he shows an example here of him traveling around the map and how much time that would take him. And just watch the timer for this.
Travel to places. Do you want to see what that looks like? All right, I'm going to save the game. Let me show you what manually traveling to a place looks like. If we open the map, we're there. Let's travel to this town to the right. Place called Charlie. Shall we?
Very small, right?
I'm going to click there. And then you can choose to fast travel camp out. When we click begin.
Right there. Right there you can see 3 hours, 46 minutes. This is not in-game. This is not in-game. This is how much time it would take to walk there. So I think a Daggerfall remake is just off the table. Like, I just, that is a gigantic game. But when you look at like what Starfield did with its procedural tech, that's why I said like the whole one Tamriel thing, like what Daggerfall basically was kind of setting out to do in a lot of ways. Like, I think Bethesda could accomplish that with some Starfield tech. So I thought that was an interesting watch. Shout out to Josh Strife. Just, that was a really good video to really contextualize why Like, I think you can't just remaster a Daggerfall because, again, the modern audience is not going to adopt it the same way they would adopt the Skyrim. So you'd have to remake it to make it more like Skyrim. But look how big it is. You can't remake all of that in Skyrim unless you betray the originality of the game and its core, which Todd has made it very clear he's against. And I think I believe him given how long he's held out for us on Fallout games, right? Speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about Fallout, right? Because that's something, it's funny, when I interviewed Todd and we were talking about Fallout 1 and 2 and like bringing them back, like as recently as that interview, he was like, yeah, like we wouldn't do that. Like I like that those are available where they are. I feel like when you look at these games here in Fallout 1 and 2, if I'm Bethesda and I'm thinking like remake candidate, what's going to get us a bag that makes a lot of sense here, I genuinely think that a Fallout remake for 1 and 2 would be awesome. I don't know how you don't look at Baldur's Gate 3, for example, and think to yourself that like, hey, we already did this, by the way, when we went from Fallout 1 and 2 to Fallout 3. Like that was a Baldur's Gate 3 moment of like, you made this thing popular with your third entry. No one knew the prior history of it. No one recognized it, but this game was so fire that it redefined the entire franchise, and look how mainstream it is now, right? Baldur's Gate 3 did the same thing, except Baldur's Gate 2 and 1 were a lot more popular, a lot more known in the gaming community. And not that Fallout 1 and 2 weren't, by the way. I think I'm misspeaking a little bit here. But my point I'm trying to get across here is that ultimately that Bethesda has done this sort of transformation before. So the math is figured out. And obviously now with the TV show, people know this West Coast Fallout pretty well. It's kind of abiding by a lot of that old Fallout lore. I don't know how, if you look at the success there, that you don't look at these games and say, hey, we could bring these back like how Beamdog did with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. They didn't do a great job with the remasters, but the idea is there of like making these games accessible. Okay, like I get that like Todd's philosophy is you can play these on PC, but these don't play well for everyone. The traditional Fallout fan wants the first-person shooter experience. I would love for them to make like a Wasteland 3 style game, but it's Fallout 1 and 2. That would, for me, be the ideal approach to this. I always dreamed of Larian making a Fallout game like this. I think that would also be absolutely incredible. So if I'm Bethesda and I'm talking about remakes, this is the game that I would target number one, but they don't want to do that. And so that's a little bit of a bummer because I don't think they re-release this as it is. So I think they're looking at, of course, the most obvious one, the one that is leaked here is Fallout 3, right? Like, let's gab a little bit about this Fallout 3 remake because, you know, they're like, I think they're basically, if you look at Skyrim as sort of what all Elder Scrolls games are going to feel like, right? They brought Oblivion's gameplay into, what's it called? Into a Skyrim style. And then I think Fallout 4 is that for the Fallout franchise. So when you're making Fallout 3, I think they're going to just straight up take that Fallout 4 gameplay and bring it into Fallout 3. So Fallout 3 was already a pretty loose role-playing game. Like, there are some choices you can make. There is good karma, bad karma. There's easy ways to completely rework that karma system. Like, they have some systems in there, but for the most part, it's pretty casualized. So it just makes sense to make the shooting feel like Fallout 4. I'm curious what they'll do with the art direction and whatnot as well. But it's interesting that he's anti-remake because on a visual level, these games, like if Oblivion Remasters anything to go by, it does feel like a remake a little bit. Oh, that step out moment. That in 4K, 60 or 120. Oh, man. Beautiful. One of my favorite moments in gaming. I'll always, core memory, straight up. So should Bethesda remake their games is the real question. I think the answer is like, you lose so much with what made those games desirable in the first place. Like if they remake Morrowind to be more like Skyrim, even I, as someone who has not played a ton of Morrowind, don't go like, yeah, you know what? Let's do that. That to me strips the value out of Morrowind and why we care in the first place. Fallout 1 and 2, I think you can remake because we've already seen Fallout reimagined. So I do think there is room for them to remake these games, but I like also that Bethesda is not fully in on that wave here. And obviously, I think the roadmap here is to do a remake for Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. And when I say remake, I mean their remaster style for Oblivion. I think it stops there, though. I don't know if they're going to go on this whole crazy train and start going deeper and deeper in the catalog. I don't think they touch Daggerfall. I don't think they touch Fallout 1 and 2, at least for the time being, because I think those demand more full remake projects. I would love to be wrong about that, by the way, because I think it makes a lot of sense. But then people are going to be like, when they remake Fallout 1, are you going to remake Fallout 2, which is a much bigger, much more ambitious role-playing game? Are you going to remake Fallout Tactics now? Are you going to bring Van Buren back? Like, it keeps going. So they'd be opening up a can of worms there. Ultimately, I do like Todd's thoughts on remakes and remasters. I do wish he started all of this sooner, though. That's the most criminal element of this all, is that we see how all those franchises are in a pickle. If it was going to be so long until we got our hands on Elder Scrolls 6, which they had to have known to some extent based on their roadmap, a bunch of Elder Scrolls remasters should have been greenlit. Not just Elder Scrolls Online, which I love. I love ESO. But it should have been more. Same with Fallout. Fallout goes on a big hiatus. Okay, yeah, you got the TV show. It's a beat. But Todd's philosophies conflict a little bit. He thinks it's important to miss things. I think he got a little carried away with that. Like, yeah, it is important to miss things, but I don't want to miss things forever. I don't want to be in a whole new era of my life when something comes around. I want to keep enjoying those things. So when it comes to Bethesda and remakes, like, I think the games that they would remake would lose their special sauce, where I think that's good. But should they have greenlit remasters much sooner? Absolutely. Especially, again, going back to our lead story for all this. When I see this, I'm like, dude, we got great IP too. Like, it's obvious, man. And before all of the whole remake wave, when we go back to what Todd was talking about here with The Guardian, people were just looking for remasters for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Like, the ask back then was straight up port these games. We'll pay $60. That's all it was. So now it's gotten even more complex. So I don't know for sure, but dude, like, if I'm Todd, like, if I'm holding on to any regrets, it's that. I feel like he should have been on the remaster wave a lot sooner, because I don't think it contaminated anything. And also, like, there are certain games that, again, like, his argument didn't make sense for like a Fallout 1 and 2. It just didn't. Like, yeah, you can play them, but most people who have console, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, like a lot of gamers, cannot play that game. And people who do play on PC don't like to play CRPGs. So make them controller accessible. Like, that would be great. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about what was happening here with the remasters and remakes. It's like, we're getting there, but it's going to be so delayed. Like, they're going to do it, but it's just so delayed. So I'm curious what everyone else thinks about the remaster and remake wave and how Bethesda could or couldn't adopt that. I agree, DeMarco. Best way to pad out the long-term dev times. Yeah, they could have really, like, given some space for the stuff we were going to be waiting for. We got some super chats here. Who are you calling? Thank you. Said, I'm unsure what Elder Scrolls 6 can even offer to players that's genuinely new. Basically, anything you can think of exists with a mod for Skyrim. That's the thing, is like, some people were like, oh, it's going to be Skyrim again. I'm like, do you realize how bad it's been for Bethesda lately? If we got Skyrim again, developers have been trying to do Skyrim again for a long while. I think the closest I ever got to that magic and that feeling was Elden Ring. I said Elden Ring. Elden Ring. Otherwise, though, the magic of Skyrim hasn't been recaptured. If Bethesda recaptures that, dude, fucking awesome. That's all I want. So I wouldn't mind that, but I get the mindset. Like, what new can they add? I think they'll add, like, big scale wars. That's my guess. Seamless, no loading screens. I think that's another one. What's your temperature check on Blood of the Dawnwalker? Assassin, I almost said humped. Holy crap, my brain's breaking. I'm hyped for it, but it's definitely like also cautious hype. Like, this has all the potential in the world. The day and night system, the way like NPCs react to what time of day it is, the whole vampire shtick, the fact that the Witcher 3 team is behind it. Like, yeah, tons of potential. But I have some concerns based on like combat, camera, polish, that sort of stuff. Oh, J Landmaster, you know I love you for that one. I'd buy a Blinks the Time Sweeper remake. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Dell, you know what, Maddie? I think just the answer is the re-release Skyrim for the 1,000th time. I agree. Fuck it, man. Fuck all the other plans. I am a little hungry, Uncharted Wolf. I am a little hungry. Uncharted, I gotta mod you, bro. Appreciate you always being here. Welcome to the team. Yeah, dude, like, I only had before this stream, because I thought I had like my whole ducks in a row. Like, yesterday I made the whole stream document. I was like really on my shit. I did it while I was on the treadmill. And so I was like, okay, we'll be live for like 2 hours. Well, it's already 2.5 hours. I was like, okay, we'll be live for 2 hours. Cool. And so right before this, I grabbed turkey, like cold cut turkey, wrapped it up with some Munster cheese. That was it. That was it. Your boy had some cold cuts before this, and I was like, yeah, I'm saving myself for the pizza later. Rock Lee's bowl cut. Shout out to Cog Lee. Thank you for your super chat, bro. All right. Let me see here. What other stories did I have planned for today? Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk about this one. Hello again. What are you eating for dinner tonight? Right now I'm thinking pizza. We'll see. We've talked sushi as well. It's Friday. It's takeout day. I did Nerdy Giant. You missed it. I recorded a whole video live. It's being worked on right now, thanks to our editor, Dan. Damn, I can't talk right now. Fuck. Dan, our editor, Dan. Do you think there will be a Starfield sequel? No. No. I just... Too many other priorities right now. My pleasure, Gabriel. Thank you for stopping on by. Sending some love. Let me get this next story set up here. I usually take the breaks in between, but like, there's no need, right? We've been live for so long. Like, let's just keep rolling. This is another Bethesda topic, by the way. I just wanted to chat Elder Scrolls 6. There were some clips that I was finding and whatnot that I felt would be relevant to the conversation. They need to finish making Starfield first. Yeah. I mean, I'm not as big of a Starfield. I don't like Starfield as much as like a Fallout or an Elder Scrolls, but I'm not as big of a hater of it as I think a lot of people are. Let me grab all of our links again. Okay. All right, yeah. I think we're good for this one. It's so funny, Robert. It ain't Lord Cog no more. It's just Cog moving forward. No more Xbox. Sluggy, I love the Starfield positivity. I appreciate you. Yeah, like, people shouldn't be shamed for liking Starfield. It's not like, again, like, it's disappointing for Bethesda Game Studios, I think, but like, as a game, I think they're capable of way more, but like, I liked it. I put over 100 hours into it. I didn't hate it that much, you know? Like, I don't do that often. Oh. You may as well have some pizza here on stream at this point. Yeah, I know, right? No, I don't. I every time I eat on stream, like I was snacking on something one time, and this chat was bitching up a storm. I was like, God, my God. I was like, it's like, what do you want me to starve to death out here? All right, let's get this second party rocking here. Let's talk a little bit about Elder Scrolls 6. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to have a little Elder Scrolls 6 chat with you because I have brain rot and because I just like to track all the weird things Bethesda does. And after what they are calling creative detours in Starfield and 76, they're going back to a classic style. We're going to revisit this Todd Howard quote, and I want to talk about Elder Scrolls 6 from the angle of, is the classic Bethesda experience desirable? Because a lot of people think their design is very outdated. And is this something we could be interested in? But also, with Creation Engine 3 being talked about, what difference does that really make in an Elder Scrolls 6? What could Bethesda be targeting? I actually think some of the interview gives us that answer by Todd. So let's take a listen here to what Todd had to say about Elder Scrolls 6. Again, we're looking at the Kind of Funny Games Pass. Great interview. And you'll see here that Todd talks a little bit about what his plans are for Elder Scrolls 6. So let's listen.
I mean, I think if you look at our games, we've sort of always evolved. We do have a certain style that we like and our fans like that we want to get better and better at. I think in some ways, in many ways, Fallout 76 and Starfield are a little bit of a creative detour from kind of that class.
Now, it's funny that he calls it a creative detour. I didn't nitpick it this much in the video I made about the full interview. But when you look at, like, I rewatched the 2022 Direct, the 2023 Direct. I reread some interviews. They do clarify, like, it's a new IP. It's something different for us. We're excited. But they also, in all of the introductory videos, went like, just like all our other games, you can be who you want, go where you want. Just like our other games, you can do this. Just like our other games. They did connect it to the classic Bethesda experience. It's something I've noticed here is that Todd was particularly receptive to the Starfield criticism here. And I didn't think he ignored it at all. I mean, he talked about it when I interviewed him. Like, he mentioned the criticism is fair. And I think it was good to see. It's about whether or not it's received, though. But it's sad to say that, like, I mean, Drawn Out made a great video talking about this interview, and I think he put it really well, where it's, like, sad to see, like, Todd just, there's nothing else you really can say. Like, to admit that people will think your game is boring, that's tough, man. Like, not everyone's going to love your game, and you know that, but, like, the conversation's gotten so loud that we went from just like our other games to, like, yeah, some people are going to find Starfield boring. Like, you'd never find Todd saying this before the launch of the game. So there is a little bit of reshaping happening here. But again, he talks about it being creative detours, and we get back into what the Bethesda Elder Scrolls 6 experience will be. So let's keep listening.
Elder Scrolls, Fallout, a Skyrim or a Fallout 3 or a Fallout 4, Oblivion, where you're exploring a world in a certain way. And, as we come back to Elder Scrolls 6 that we're doing now, we're coming back to that kind of classic style that we've missed, that we know really, really well. You talked about, tech and things like that. We spent the last, several years bringing Creation Engine 2, which powers Starfield, up to Creation Engine 3, that's going to power Elder Scrolls 6.
I love his smile as he's getting ready to drop all this, by the way. Watch the smile on his face slightly grow, and then he suppresses it, because Todd just knows. He's like, oh, I'm about that. Here comes the headline.
Which powers Starfield up to Creation Engine.
He starts to smile. It's so funny. Before we get into Creation Engine 3, I want to talk about that real quick, of the classic Bethesda style, and if that's actually like a good thing or a bad thing, because a lot of people are kind of tired of classic Bethesda. I tell you to look as far as Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is in a lot of ways to me a classic Bethesda Game Studios on foot open world RPG wandering experience that puts a lot of power and agency into your hands, and you make of that what you will. To me, if an Elder Scrolls 6 can be like a Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I know I'm dreaming big right now, for a lot of people, they think I'm dreaming big, but like, I'm really just saying, like, if it could reach that level, then to me, the classic Bethesda experience is excellent. A lot of people have also said, but like, what if it's just Skyrim again? And to me, I'm like, I don't want to wait all this time just to get Skyrim again. But if it is at the worst Skyrim again, after everything else we've got, I also, like, Skyrim is one of my top 10 games of all time. Wouldn't really hate that. My concern really comes down to, like, streamlining of systems, streamlining of gameplay elements. Every Elder Scrolls game became progressively less and less a role-playing game, right? Like, you had Morrowind, very hardcore. I mean, before that was even hardcore with Daggerfall, but Morrowind, hardcore, right? Like, skill-based attacks. Oblivion loosens up a little bit, but as you use certain things, you'll unlock perks, and, like, you can pigeonhole yourself a little bit. You can eventually become great at everything if you engage in all the content, but for the most part, most of your time is spent being good at one thing. Skyrim really opens things up. It has a great leveling system. I love the leveling by doing. I think that was one of the best choices Skyrim made. But for a lot of people, like, that mixture of towns that are blocked between loading screens, worlds that are blocked between loading screens, a lot of that isn't as apparent in Skyrim as it is in something like Starfield. So if we got a bigger, more open and expansive Skyrim, again, I'm wondering if people really would hate that. For me, I would not, but I definitely look at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and what Warhorse delivered and think to myself, that's what I want Bethesda to do. I want to have that agency. I want to have that reactivity. I want to have, like, time matter that much, because that's the thing that Oblivion did that a lot of people forgot until the remaster, is the NPC schedules were such a core part of that game's quest design, right? Like, you have to go here for the Dark Brotherhood quest line, and if you want to get a special reward to make it look like this death was an accident, you have to, like, unscrew at this particular time this statue, which will fall on this guy's head when he's reading. And so the NPC has to go to that chair at that specific time every day. I love that sort of stuff. And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is loaded with that. So to me, the problem isn't the classic Bethesda experience. It's really how they manage the content within it, and what there is handcrafted. So again, I'm not so against it, but it doesn't but it doesn't really take them out of the woods, right? So let's go to Creation Engine 3 here, because I want to take a listen at what Todd had to say about what Creation Engine 3 can really enable for a Bethesda Game Studios video game. So let's continue the quote here.
3 that's going to power Elder Scrolls 6 and beyond. And, you know, obviously we do all the rendering things. We're really happy with the new stuff that we're doing, but also kind of world systems loading, how we bring things into the world, how we get that detail close to the camera kind of immediately. And so,
so that kind of tells us what they're targeting. This is something I noticed flew under the radar for a lot of people. And I get it. This is an hour-long interview, and there's a bunch of like bites that you can pick from and say like, hey, Todd said this. Hey, Todd said that. I think, again, the takeover quote was the classic Bethesda experience, which, again, to me, after Starfield and 76, just put the ball in your court. It doesn't mean the game's going to be great, but put the ball in your court. Work with your strengths here. When I hear Creation Engine 3, right, and he mentions, this was the key quote to me, world systems, loading, how we bring things into the world, and how we get that detail close to the camera immediately. That last part, I struggle to think of what that exactly is off the top of my head. But world systems, loading, how we bring things into the world, to me smells like, hey, Starfield had a lot of issues with loading screens. We need to move past that. I think if you get, let's think Skyrim again. Let's go back. Classic Bethesda experience. One landmass. Skyrim without loading screens. I would love that. I would. Again, before people misconstrue me, would I love that in a world where I have waited this long for Elder Scrolls 6? It's got to do more. But at its baseline, if that's the starting point, they're selling it internally to each other. Like, what's the vision? Skyrim without loading screens, or 2 Skyrims without loading screens. Like, there's 2 land masses, no loading screens. To me, that would bring them up to speed a little bit. Visually, there's a whole other conversation. Creation Engine 2 brought to the table a new character animation system, a better global illumination lighting system that did it all in real time. So there were things like that which quickly aged. Like the facial animations looked good when we first saw them for Bethesda standards, and then they quickly aged out. And this is a problem that's cropped up time and time again. So again, when we heard Creation Engine 3, a lot of people went, oh boy, Creation Engine again, this game is doomed. So what I wanted to do was actually go to my buddy Kiwi Talks, who runs a bunch of great shows where he interviews developers. And a lot of these developers are former Bethesda devs. He talked to Nate Perkypile, who was one of the lead artists at Bethesda Game Studios from Fallout 3 up until Starfield. And they talk about the Creation Engine and his time using it. Now, it is a 4-minute clip that you should watch for yourself, but I cherry-picked the one particular part of the conversation that I thought would be most relevant to what we're talking about here with Creation Engine 3. And if Bethesda should move on to Unreal Engine 5, and how I personally feel about that mindset, because I see it a lot online too. So let's take a listen. By the way, Nate Perkypile, awesome dude. He's like a solo indie dev now doing his own thing. So he's worked with all of these different engines. So let's hear what he has to say here.
I would think that the initial cost to migrate over to Unreal Engine 5 would be hefty sum initially.
Yeah.
But you'd reap that reward in the long run later, because everything would be a bit more streamlined.
I completely agree. And like having made open world games with both engines, to me, it's like absolutely no question that I think things would end up being better. That said, I don't think they're actually going to do that. I would be shocked if that did happen. Because, I don't know, people also have trouble changing their minds sometimes, where they made a decision at some point, and it did make sense at the time. 10 years ago, I completely agreed. But I think it's important to reevaluate tech, and games are constantly changing. Like, I started making games when we literally didn't even have color. So to always commit yourself to these decisions you made in the past, I think is dangerous.
So, yeah, he is a proponent for Bethesda moving to Unreal Engine over the Creation Engine. It would obviously take some time, but this is not something we haven't seen developers do who have their proprietary engines, right? We've seen CD Projekt Red has done the same thing. New Witcher Saga announced, CD Projekt Red begins development on Unreal Engine 5 as part of a strategic partnership with Epic Games. And like the last time we saw Witcher 4, it was on like an Epic stage, right? Halo Studios was another one. This was kind of unbelievable at the time, but they're doing it right here. They say new name, new engine, new games, new philosophy. They say, we're entering a new dawn for Halo. Those visuals were created using Unreal Engine 5, and we learned that all future Halo projects will use the engine and that multiple new games are using it for development. The problem that the industry is having with proprietary engines is the story you've heard before. For those who have not been paying attention, just to catch you up a little bit, what you're starting to learn here is that when you have a proprietary engine, that tech stack works very differently from a more publicly available engine like an Unreal Engine, like a Unity. And so when developers come in, they have to learn your tech stack. So let's say you are having an issue with your game, something's on fire, we need to call in help. You can't just pick up the phone and be like, hey, I need help with Creation Engine. I don't know how that works. It's totally different. And so Unreal Engine, that's why when you have CD Projekt Red go through what happened with Cyberpunk's launch, they move over to Unreal Engine because now if anything's on fire, they're working directly. Again, we see here a partnership with Epic Games, and it's easier to hire for. And so Nate Perkypile was arguing basically like, hey, I think this would be really great without a question, because he says, I've built open world games on Unreal Engine. I've built it on Bethesda Game Studio stuff. And he even talked about the in-tool editor and how they have to consistently like reload the engine to make these things appear in world. Like, it sounded like a bitch to test with, and game testing is everything. That's how you really get to what makes it special here. But there's a couple reasons why Bethesda will never change engines, right? No matter how much people hope and complain and cry, there's two main things that I want to point to you that are very recent. One that's been relevant for a while. But right here, we're going to look at a video by Juicehead, my homie, where he was looking at the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition creations, right? And he did a great job like showcasing all of these and what they do. This is why they're not going to move. At one point when it was just modability, it was pure like player engagement. And that still is part of it. Like, bruh, how many times do we have to go over this? Like, yes, you can do mods for, you know, Creation Engine games and whatnot. Like, yes, you can do that. You can do it for Unreal Engine games. You can do it for all these different engines. But like Bethesda Game Studios is a very particular customizable, moddable engine. And there's a reason why they were like the front runner and still are the front runner with mods. There's a reason like Skyrim is still relevant. That got so popular, it turned into a business model for them, which you're seeing right here. That business model, I think, has been handled terribly, and the system needs a lot of work. And when Fallout 4 is the worst example you have, I do think there are ones that are pretty good, like in Skyrim. Of course, I got to shout out the homie Kingath Creations. They make amazing creations. They show what it's capable of, and it's worth believing in. So what you're seeing here from Juicehead is just some of like the content that they've been putting out. This is now a business to them. If you abandon the Creation Engine, you abandon creations, and you abandon a lot of money being made. And I just don't think they're going to do that. Even if it hurts their games, I think they're going to muscle through it. Interestingly, Todd did confirm in the same interview that Elder Scrolls 6 has most of the team on it. And I think based on how bad their releases have been between Shattered Space and Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, Skyrim on Switch 2, we'll see how Fallout 4 on Switch 2 works. Like, based on how everything is kind of gone so far, I don't know, man. Like, I hope that's the case, and that like there's a lot of like talent hogging on Elder Scrolls 6, and it turns out well, so maybe it overcomes some Creation Engine issues, because it wasn't a problem early in its life. We were loving Bethesda games, but now the tech stack is so behind. So I think the fact that you had Creation Engine making Skyrim, Fallout 4, and 76, Creation Engine 2 making Starfield, and they've evolved their engine again, it doesn't mean it's a complete overhaul, but it does mean that they noticed issues and they got to move past them. So based on what Todd said with loading, I imagine they're trying to get a seamless open world. Will they actually do that? I don't know. The second reason why I don't think they're ever going to go away from Creation Engine is, again, money. This time it's a little bit different. Let's look at something like Epic Games here, where they have like licensing deal. Hey, if you make under $1 million in revenue, guess what? This program is free to use. Royalties only apply after you make $1 million. Bethesda games make $1 million on like an off day. So they would be paying licensing fees out the ass, royalties out the ass here. Let's say you make over $1 million in revenue, royalty-based. If you're creating a game or application that relies on engine code at runtime and will be licensed to third-party end users, you will pay royalties and won't be required to purchase seats. The cost, all lifetime revenue above $1 million that is attributed to the UE product, regardless of who collects it, will be subject to a 5% royalty. Meanwhile, if you're using Unreal Engine for commercial purposes, have generated more than $1 million revenue in the past 12 months, and are not creating a game or application that relies on engine code at runtime, you'll have to pay for a license, like a seat. So these things are like, why would we do that? We collect all the we don't have to like, you have platform splits, right? But now you're owned by Xbox and you have your own tech stack. So you make a lot of money. That's why proprietary engines on top of like when we see what's happening with like Crimson Desert, where they have like custom features and it's making a game that looks impossible become possible. That's why I'm not fully buying into like everyone going to Unreal Engine like people are asking them to. Like, I'm not an advocate for them going from Creation Engine to something else, because the interactivity, the physics, the memory that's required to like, hey, this person died over here with these objects on them. I'm not saying they can't do that in Unreal Engine, but that is so baked into the cake for Bethesda games. It is so important to the Bethesda games, and that could be lost. And I don't think we should advocate for Bethesda games to lose potential charm and what made them great in the first place. I think they should figure out how to make Creation Engine the best it can be if they've committed to it. At the same time, I trust someone like Nate Perkypile over myself. Nate used the engine. I've only used Unreal Engine and not 5. So what do I know at the end of the day? But anyway, when it comes to like classic Bethesda experience, Creation Engine 3, it'll be interesting to see how this is all applied here. I think, again, this was kind of a little bit of step 0.001. Basically, Bethesda confirming it's more of a classic experience for Elder Scrolls 6, I think is at least interesting, right? Where it goes from there is anyone's guess. Certainly, I have a lot to prove there, but I've always said if they're like classic experience, one landmass, and handcrafted content, it gets a thumbs up from me, at least from the optics point of view. And we'll see what the game turns out to be. If they say all of that plus no loading screens, completely seamless, that's hitting the right nodes as well. Obviously, then it comes down to because what I want to get us to the conversation for the Elder Scrolls 6 is the intricacies. What's your role playing like? What's your exploration like? What's your loot like? What is your quest lines like? Who are the factions? I want to talk about that shit. Not like, will it be good or not? Like, I want to get into that next step, but they have to get us there. So there are a few statements away from that, but that's why I said it's 0.0001 for the step. So yeah, I'm curious what people think about that classic Bethesda experience, and if it worries them, it excites them. I think there's fair statements on both sides. No doubt, people are going to scream at me for thinking the classic Bethesda experience is suddenly like, whoa, you like that? It's like, I have for a while, my whole life, in fact. So I'm curious what people think. All right, that is some Matty Slop live. We are fucking firing on all cylinders here. Let's catch up on some super chats as well here. Jaco, good to see you again here. In my opinion, Elder Scrolls 6 needs a great sandbox traversal. Yeah. Yep. Combat, destruction of magic, return to gore. It's got to be robust. I think that would go a long way. I could see combat being overhauled as well. I think it needs to be overhauled for Elder Scrolls 6, especially if you look at Oblivion Remaster, it's like the best looking Bethesda product out there. Not even close. Animations, visual quality. Elder Scrolls 6 has to beat that by a lot. It has to. Just by prestige alone, it has to. So amen to that. Believe Matty. Look, I just try to be rational with it, mac and cheesy. Like, a lot of people, the problem I have with talking about Bethesda nowadays is I make these videos borderline defensively, which sucks. Like, I want to have an open conversation about it, but this, dude, like, the best example of this is when Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition comes out, and it's ass, and rightfully we tear into Bethesda. But then, hey, here comes Fallout Season 2 trailer, and it looks great. And I'm like, yo, let's talk about this. Like, yo, this looks sick. And people got pissed at me. They're like, how could you hype up Bethesda like this? How dare you? Like, we're in this day and age where if you dare, like, anything associated with them, it's fucking Amazon and Kilter Films. And Bethesda is no doubt associated, but like anything, it's like they jump down your throat. Like, how dare you? It's like one positive thing. And to people, it's like your whole opinion on them has changed. And it's just calling balls and strikes, but it's so hard to talk about them nowadays. It's tough. It really is, because just like, I'm going to keep it real with you guys, but I fucking pay the consequences every time. Like, no doubt that conversation we put on Matty Slop, top comment, give it up, Matty. Top comment, you're coping, bro. It's like, I'm just talking. I just want to have an educated conversation. We want them to be good. Let's talk about how to make them great and what could make them great again. Bethesda fans are rightfully angry. I'm not taking that. I hope people don't think I'm taking away that from them. You have every I'm angry. I'm upset. But like, that constructive conversation does so much. So much. Like, we can help get them there for sure. if we're screaming about everything they're associated with, and this is with any company, not just Bethesda, it's a recipe for disaster, dude. It's not going to help them. It's not going to help anyone. Shill confirmed, get out from under Todd's desk. Sorry, guys, you got me. You got me. Our next story is going to be about Blue Point. Let's change gears. We already talked about how bad fucking Xbox is right now. Man, let's talk PlayStation. Oh, boy. That'd be interesting if they use Machine Games Tech for, I think Machine Games use id Tech, I want to say. I know they work with id Tech a lot for, at least based on Fallout 4. They do. That's more in Blue Point together. Yeah, like, hey, by the way, shout out to everyone who showed up for the Blue Point video. On Matty Slop. That was like a real like last minute call. Emmett made the thumbnail and I was like, I'm gonna just let this video rip. Like, we're not gonna put a lot of like crazy amounts into it and just like see how it does. And it like exploded. It was really cool. So I appreciate anyone showing out for that. I agree, FC Hawk. Like, again, like, yeah, the Bethesda hate is crazy. I know a lot of people want them to be great, but again, like, the constructive conversation helps them a lot more. Like, there are points to be angry. Like, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition was fucking unacceptable. Shattered Space was also unacceptable. Those events chained together are unacceptable. But, like, if they do something good, you also have to let them know that. Like, you have to. Like, it's just, like, you don't have to glaze them. But if Todd says, like, classic Bethesda experience, I'm like, okay, am I convinced that this game's going to be incredible based on your recent track record? No. But, like, does that sound like you're moving in the correct direction? Sure. And that's, like, okay, cool. Like, I want to know more about that. What's the classic Bethesda experience to you, Todd? Like, on foot wandering, one landmass? Like, what is it to you? Right? So, it's in those moments that I wish I was in the interview chair. Because Greg had a lot of great questions. And for me, it was, like, that second level of, like, I just want to go a little deeper on that. Like, and also, he didn't ask about Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. No doubt, like, that was I'm sure there was like an agreement to not fucking talk about that. It had to be, because there were so many obvious questions about the quality. And I'm sure the chat was asking about it too. There's no way AI allows Game Pass to continue, right? I mean, yeah, I don't know if it works like that, but like, I'm sure, I don't know. It depends how much money Game Pass is making. Like, is it making enough to hang around? Or they just, I mean, they could just, again, I've said they're going to just strip Xbox for parts and just like turn them into a game maker and whatever that looks like. Like, you know, they said it starts with the console, but can you believe anything Microsoft says nowadays? I don't think so. Let's talk a little bit about PlayStation in a sec here. I love this one. Gonna be Mr. Matty Grays by the time Fallout 5 comes out. Yeah, I mean, hey, hair's doing good. Like, I think I'd still look pretty young. I'm 30. I think like I figured out my hair game, you know. That took me a while. Like, there you can see like pictures of me in high school. I had like my comb over at one point. I had like more of like a skater bowl cut, but I think I figured out. So like, yeah, I'm not really showing my age yet. Skin's nice and moist. When I raise my eyebrows, you get those lines up there, but that's because I just raise my eyebrows for everything, that I've just become that guy. Like, when I'm like 50, dude, my forehead's going to be cooked. But yeah, no grays yet, fortunately. I feel very blessed about that. My dad got his grays late, so I'm hoping I'm on that same same wavelength. I want to look young for as long as possible. The beard goes gray before the head. Well, come on now. We're fine, dude. Yeah, we're good. Are you going to be playing Crimson Desert next week? I heard reviewers are going to. I don't know. I reach out for a review copy. I'm on the list, but being on the list can mean a lot of things. It can mean like you've been thrown on the list of just like you're not going to get it. You've been thrown on the list of like, hey, dude, you're actually going to get it. I don't know. They're doing previews for it soon, it sounds like. I don't know. But I don't expect it. I'm not going to like sound, I hope this doesn't come across like privileged, ranty, or anything like that. I talked about it in my Crimson Desert video. Like, the last thing I reviewed, like seriously, was I looked it up. It was Outer Worlds 2, which was October. Like I've cut my teeth on game reviews. Like that is my main thing I do. And I've been like kind of stonewalled out, dude. Like it's tough because a lot of this industry functions on like you have to go to these events in person to like get review access. And I don't know why it works this way, but like that is what a lot of creators tell me, because they get access and I'm like, hey, who did you talk to? And they're like, you got to start like going to like Summer Games Fest and stuff. And like, I can't go this year. So I'm like, okay, great. Like, so until I make the handshakes in person, it's like my platform's not enough, is how I understand it. Not that anyone's told me that. That is what I've understood based on people I've talked to. It's that, and then I don't have a website. This industry very much values press, and press has a website. So that can get you in with certain companies, like a Nintendo, for example. Otherwise, you're in a basket. I'm considered by a lot of these companies an influencer. They label me as an influencer. So that means that I am someone who day and date, you know, that sort of stuff. And I've tried really hard to fight my way, pardon me as I wipe my eye, fight my way out of that. And there are companies that really get it. Like Bethesda's gotten really good at it. Bethesda treats me like one of the press, and I appreciate that because I take my job seriously. But there are a lot of companies that treat me just like, hey, dude, thanks. We added you to the list. Or, hey, we're working really hard to meet demand. We'll let you know. And they never do. I don't know. It makes you not want to review stuff and just do it on your own time. But like, I serve you as my audience. So for me, when I can't do reviews, I do get very flustered because like, I want to provide for my audience who asks me constantly, like, will you review this? Do you want to do this? And there are so many games. Like I'm hungry. Like I'm not over the opportunity of it. But it's just not working out right now. And you go through seasons of it, but like right now, like for those who are looking for my reviews, like I am trying. Just please know I am trying, like sincerely. It bums me out, but like I was talking to a friend about it 2 nights ago. I was like, I'm sad about it, but like I am trying. Like I'm trying to like email. I'm trying to like follow up. I'm not trying to be too annoying about it. I'm not trying to come across privileged. I'm just trying to be like, hey, like I'd love to check this game out. So appreciate you asking about Crimson Desert reviews. I just trust my audience though. After the final verdict video for KCD 2 did so well, it did at least relieve me a little bit of like, okay, like if I'm late, there is an audience there who wants to just hear my take. But I know some of you are like, I don't make the choice to buy something until you say something. And I'm like, okay, I want to be there for those people too. So I don't know. But, it's one of those things where we make do because I got you guys. So it's no biggie. It's just a little bit of a bummer because it's making it a little bit tougher to do. All right. We still got a few things to go over today. Level 1 Wizard, I have not played Crystal, Theater of Idols. I haven't played that yet, but I do have it in my wish list on Steam. It's something I plan to play this year. I agree, DeMarco. Yeah, the balance with the early thoughts and the final review is good. The problem with the early thoughts, I was talking to Kiwi about it last night, and the problem with the early impressions is there are some games that it's kind of useless for. Like I tried to do it, and the real lesson here is to not do early impressions on certain games on Retro Rebound because it's stupid. I did it for Octopath Traveler 0, and a lot of the comments were like, bro, you need to put way more time into this game. Like, what are you doing? And so I thought that was really good, valuable feedback. And I was like, okay, so I can't do first impressions for like everything. But there are some that make sense, some that don't. I'm like, does first impressions for Crimson Desert after like 15 hours or 20 hours or however much time I get in, if I get that in, does that make sense? Right? Does like my audience even value that? Because it's such a big game. Like, how are you feeling so far? But it's like, this game looks like over 100 hours long. So it's tough with that format. I try not to lean on it too much, but there's games that are so big that it kind of requires it now. So anyway, let's get rocking with this next news story here, guys, because still got a little ways to go here. Let's talk PlayStation, shall we? Let me get my my notes up here. Okay. All right. That's a good point, Personal. Yeah, that like Crimson Desert is not very writing based, so like early impressions could work because it's more gameplay. That's true. I think even a couple hours right now with how my audience feels about Crimson Desert could be useful. So maybe that was a bad example, but I appreciate the feedback, guys. Yeah, just know I'm trying. I guess that was my long tangent. Just know I'm trying, and I want to review as many games as I can within reason. You know, I don't want to overdo it because there's a lot going on, a lot of content to make and that sort of stuff. And I don't like to treat games as content. Like I like to review things deliberately, like pick them out and be like, I want to talk about that because I think I like this and I think my audience will like this, and see where it goes from there. Okay. Let's talk about PlayStation. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, just this week, in what has been an absolutely disastrous week for the games industry, PlayStation shut down Blue Point Games. And this was, again, one of the biggest fumbles we've seen. Xbox said, hold my beer. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond leave. But this is still big news this week. And I think as you start to get clarity on the situation, it gets a little bit worse of like what PlayStation could have been doing, what they were thinking. Again, for those who don't know, Blue Point Games is responsible for a lot of remakes and remasters. That is the top of the line in the industry. Like they did Shadow of the Colossus, they did Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, they did Demon Souls for the launch of the PS5. Like this is what they were born to do. As we saw with the reports and the leaks, Blue Point got put on a live service God of War game, which is one of the dumbest ideas here. But again, when they bought Blue Point, as I showed in my original Matty Slop video on the topic, they literally said like, this is the acclaimed studio for remakes and remasters. And they put them on, again, a live service game. Nonetheless, though, here we go back to Herman's tweet where he says, the studio's brilliant recreation of Demon Souls for PS5 launch proves that Blue Point Games knows PlayStation games inside and out. We are so excited to welcome them as the newest member to PlayStation Studios. Congrats to everyone at Blue Point Games. None of you saw this acquisition coming. So, yeah, when this acquisition first went through, we're like, okay, cool. Like, there we go, Herman. Good move. Like, this is a move that makes a lot of sense. It's logical. Let's keep remaking things from the PlayStation portfolio. They have a wonderful wealth of new IP here. When we learned they were shut down, though, it was through a report by Jason Schreier of Bloomberg. We had no idea what the why of it was or what was happening internally. It was just after a business review. All we've got now is this email here, which Kotaku was able to unearth here. So shout out to them. They say, here's the email about why PlayStation shut down a studio that put out great games. And that's a great headline. They write, Sony is shutting down Blue Point Games just 5 years after buying it. Herman Hull said the decision was the result of an increasingly challenging industry environment in a note to staff on Thursday. It's a shocking end for a studio that Holst himself admits delivered exceptional experiences for the PlayStation community and comes despite a recent jump in profits for Sony's gaming division. We actually just saw Ubisoft do this. They made a ton of cuts. It looks like the sky's falling. They reorganized Ubisoft in all these 5 houses. But then we learned they actually made a shit ton of money thanks to Assassin's Creed. And you start to think to yourself that these cuts are being made so they can make more money. They're already making enough. That's the sad reality of this. I'm sure PlayStation is not up shit's creek without a paddle like people think they are. I'm sure they just want to make more money. He writes, I wanted to share an update from the studio business. The message, a copy which was viewed by Kotaku, began. As I mentioned in December, Town Hall 2025 had some strong highlights within PlayStation Studios. Ghost of Yotei launched to critical and commercial success. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach further showcased our commitment to narrative excellence. And Helldivers 2 and MLB The Show continue to drive on going player engagement and revenue. So what's interesting here is it's not really mentioned that like Death Stranding 2 did well financially, but narrative excellence is what we're here for. That's what we know PlayStation 4 here. They continue with their email saying, at the same time, we're operating in an increasingly challenging industry environment. Rising development costs, slowed industry growth, changing player behavior, and broader economic headwinds are making it harder to build games sustainably. By the way, just like a good time to remind you all, Blue Point was a 70-person team. It's one thing if we're talking like what a lot of these AAA teams are, like the head count's like a, whoa, dude, 400 people, 500 people, 600. We have teams that we know about are 1,000 plus people. Okay, I get it. 70 people, man, this industry's tough. It's so tough. It's such a big industry, but these fucking 70 people over here, man, if it's so challenging. If we could just take this very simple team that has probably a low amount to run, like it costs a low amount to run, and put them on something that can make millions, like, I don't know, Bloodborne remake. What's that thing that everyone's always talking about on social media and memeing about, and every showcase that comes around, people want it. What is that? Bloodborne. Oh, you know what? They were working on a God of War game, and you know, like they were remaking games. Like maybe they have all these great God of War assets. Maybe they could help with the remake trilogy. They keep them around. Like there's every reason in the world to keep Blue Point around beyond the games that they made. But no, broader economic headwinds, rising development costs, slowed industry growth. By the way, one of the fastest growing parts of the industry are the remakes. As I showed when we were talking about Bethesda, 19 million sales for Resident Evil 2 remake, but go on how slowed industry growth is. It's not enough to sell that many copies here. I'm going to continue. To navigate this reality, we need to continue adapting and evolving. We've taken a close look at our business to ensure we're delivering today while still positioned for the future. As a result, we will be closing Blue Point Games in March. Just like reading that as a whole, right? Like, hey, it's tough out there, and to adapt and evolve, we're going to get rid of a team that's probably built around single-player games. As always, we read that this decision was not made lightly. Blue Point is an incredibly talented team, and their technical expertise has delivered exceptional experiences for the PlayStation community. I wanted to thank everyone at Blue Point for their creativity, craftsmen, and commitment to quality. Where possible, we will find the opportunities for some impacted employees within our global network of studios. This last aspect is what we were hoping for. Like, again, with the God of War remake trilogy, I'm hoping that like some of them find a home at Sony Santa Monica. It just makes a lot of sense. Like, they were just working on God of War for like 4 or 5 years. Certainly after the project that was canceled, like there is some type of built-in knowledge that is worth having there. But again, this is why, like, I used to be, when, you know, Xbox was trying to compete and they were buying studios up, I was like, okay, let's see what this leads to. But bro, I quickly changed my tune. There is no one anti-acquisition more than me at this point, because you have a company in Blue Point that had such an obvious business format, and the path forward for them was simple. Don't put them on anything live service. Like, they were built since 2006 to remaster stuff, and they build a bunch of PlayStation remasters on the PS3. Like, this is what they've been doing for a while. Great co-development partner. This is what they've been doing for a while. PlayStation wisely buys them and puts them on a live product and then kills them before they even release anything else after Demon's Souls. While I know this is hard news to hear, I'm confident in the direction we're headed. Creativity, innovation, and building unforgettable experiences for players remains at the heart of PlayStation Studios. We have a robust roadmap for fiscal year 26 with much to look forward to in the months ahead. Thank you for your hard work and continued support. So, yeah, even though Herman Holst was like, hey, they know PlayStation games inside and out, he's like, yeah, broader economic challenges and those 70 employees there, it's just a little too much for a little old PlayStation to keep around, where, again, our road to the top with this company was so obvious. Was there ever a conversation about Bloodborne Remake? That's actually where it gets a bit interesting here. So for those who don't know, and I don't want to butcher his full name, so I'm just going to call him Maxime, but Maxime was working on a kind of fan remake called Bloodborne Top-Down Arena. And you can see here, I think this looks awesome. It's all the Bloodborne assets and pieces. Like, if you listen to the audio for this actual demo on Maxime's YouTube channel, pardon me, you'll see that he's like, the enemies are like, away, foul beast. You know, I always quote this game, dude. I love Bloodborne so much. So good. Easily still my favorite FromSoft game. But yeah, as you can see here, kind of rethinking Bloodborne top-down. Anyway, this project eventually gets shut down, and it leads into, I want to show it here, their own project called Baphomet, which is third person, over the shoulder, very Souls-like inspired. And it's using those assets from the Bloodborne remake they were doing to make their own game, which I think is the wisest thing you can do. Like, I respect the fan remake projects. It's good for portfolio building, but you should just turn that into your own game, man. So they're trying to mix together, as you can see with the pop-ups there, like horror and action RPGs. And yeah, the game looks pretty cool, I think. Anyway, they were working on that Bloodborne remake, and then they stopped. Why did they stop is a big part of this conversation now. So what you'll see here is this image, and it is a cease and desist letter from Sony. Let's read the tweet from Maxime, who again this is him, and he was working on this game here. He writes, with the closure of Blue Point Studio, now feels like the right time to share something. Sony sent me a cease and desist letter regarding my second Bloodborne remake project that I posted about in November 2024. I was incredibly excited about this project and worked on it a lot in my spare time. Then I received a letter that you can see here. I told myself, okay, I expected this might happen. Maybe it's because a real Bloodborne remake is actually in development and Blue Point is leading it for the PS6 launch. God, dude. To dream of the obvious. I didn't say anything in March 2025 because I decided to repurpose all the assets I had created for that project into a new game set in my own universe inspired by Bloodborne. My plan was to reveal the letter once the game was ready to communicate. Unfortunately, plans have changed. I'd rather speak about it now as my disappointment is immense. The disappearance of Blue Point is a tremendous loss for the industry and for the dream of a Bloodborne remake. Why are you making such absurd decisions, Sony? Shutting down such a talented studio while you're not even making a Bloodborne remake, and on top of that, sending cease and desist letters to small fan projects. Are you serious? So, yeah, when Bluepoint was purchased, we all thought this was the next step. They remade a Souls-like game. And Hidetaka Miyazaki has said multiple times that the decision for a Bloodborne remake or Bloodborne continuing lies in PlayStation's hands. So, to get this all straight, to put all of our ducks in a row here, they bought the remake studio, they shut down the fan remakes, and then didn't make anything related to Bloodborne and went for a live service God of War game. So a lot of people are wondering where Bluepoint can land. Jaffe had a really interesting suggestion here. He said, ring, ring. It's funny, Phil's not here anymore. It's kind of not relevant. But anyway, he says, Bluepoint Games. Yeah, hello. Phil says, hey, man, it's Phil Spencer. Form a new team and we'll fund y'all. Original or a remake of one of our new IPs. TLDR, this isn't hard. Do not let this amazing team splinter. I love Jaffe's idea. Before Phil was even out of Xbox, I was kind of like, I think Jaffe knows, like, this is kind of a crapshoot. But, like, yeah, to let this team split would be a crying shame. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, we already saw PlayStation doing that with Bungie. They were dissecting parts of them as Destiny 2 was falling apart in real time and Marathon started to fall apart before putting itself back together again. But they rolled a bunch of Bungie staff into PlayStation because they're looking to make live service stuff. And so that is where they saw a lot of value. But a lot of people are wanting Bluepoint to hang around and make something, and Bloodborne Remake would have made a lot of sense, but they sent a cease and desist letter to a fan remake, didn't do anything with it, put them on a live service God of War game, shut them down before they released anything since they bought them. Like, all-time fumble. Again, that Jim Ryan, Herman Holst era will be studied. All-time fumble. It's awful out here, man. I feel bad for new devs. You look at this stuff and you're like, why aren't obvious decisions made? Why can't fans get what they want? Why are we fighting such uphill battles for things like Bloodborne Remake? When you make a Souls-like game, and the next thing that you followed up with is not even a Souls-like, that's crazy to me. Bloodborne is such a recent game in the scheme of things, right? The only reason people ask for a remake is because it's 30 FPS and there's no like back combat upgrades. But like, it's right there, and it's such a new game. Like, there's no excuse. But PlayStation has found a way. Bad week for both of the big publishers in our industry in PlayStation and Xbox. Again, just learning more about this, it gets more and more disappointing. But all we know is PlayStation's in on live service, and that's heart crushing. So, yeah, man, no Bloodborne remake probably ever, and that's sad because no way From Software is going to do it, right? You have to imagine From Software is going to focus on their own things, and rightfully so. Can they do a Bloodborne 2 though? Sure. Would I take a Bloodborne 2 over a remake? Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's from Software, but they have to team with PlayStation. Is that going to be a Money Hat exclusive? They already did one with Duskblood, so they're going to do it here. It's an interesting conversation, but I'm not really hopeful. So those are my thoughts on what's happened with Bluepoint lately. Just from bad to worse. Murphy, good to see you. Yes, I did see this news. We covered it for the first 2 hours of this show. So thank you for being here. But yeah, crazy news. Do Fable versus Elder Scrolls 6, which one is going to be better? I don't think you can compare them until they're out, would be my answer to this, Hossein. Like, I appreciate the super chat, but I feel like you can't compare them until we know what both look like. We know what Fable 4 looks like, but we don't know what Elder Scrolls 6 looks like. But if I'm like shooting from the hip here, like, Fable probably has a better chance just because, like, you know, like Playground's a great studio and they have a great track record, and like Bethesda's recent track record isn't consistent, but they're also changing a lot of what makes Fable Fable. So thank you for your support, guys. This has been a very memorable stream. That's for damn sure. How many more stories do we have on that? That might be enough. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Let's start chilling for the rest of the stream. That's enough slop content. Let's start hanging. Let's start hanging. I'm going to relax a little bit here. Whew. Okay. Actually, hold on. Let me flip these screens here. There we go. That's better. Caleb is thinking I'm giving you your shout out. Thanks for supporting. Yeah, a lot of you guys here today. What we've had over, yeah, almost over 1,000 people. I think the adrenaline's wearing off. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just felt myself fall from like a 10 to a 6. I'm just like, wow, that was like just locked in for like 3 hours straight, just from the fill to the okay, we got to do the Matty slop stuff. Like, whew. Fun day at the office. Like, this is the good type of tired, right? You enjoy this sort of stuff, but whew. Appreciate you guys hanging for all these conversations, man. Just a lot of fun. I wonder if gaming will stop being affordable for the general public and only can be affordable for streamers. God, I hope not. I'm sure they're fighting against I think that's, again, where I said it earlier, but like, go support your favorite indie, because like, indie will never do that. They'll just never do that. They need you too much. They are artists too much. AAA is operating in its own fucking world, and let them. You know, if they decide to price games at like $90 or $100 or whatever GTA 6 is going to be, which has been debated for a while, let them do that. They're going to try to follow in their footsteps, and then Outer Worlds 2 will be a very telling story over time of what happens when you try to push really hard for $80 when it doesn't work because you just want your money and you basically kill a game with it. Gonna need a cigarette after the news. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's been a stream, bro. It's been a stream. It's been fun though, but like, yeah, it's just like, that was a go stretch right there. Like, go live, news broke. Like, I didn't even settle in. I didn't even settle down. We were going. I honestly believe Fable 4 is going to walk Elder Scrolls 6, in my opinion. It's very possible. It really is. Like, they hired a lot of Witcher staff for Fable from what I read online. So, you know, there's a lot to believe. I mean, they have a good choice in consequence archetype. So there's a lot, again, to have faith in with this new Fable game. For me, it's just like the stuff I really love about Fable. You know, like, I think about the kind of objective good and evil, and they got rid of that. I found that a little disappointing. Combat, they kind of showed flashes of. Looks a little light, but like, I kind of like the reactivity. It looks good though. It does look good. I'm not as hyped as I want to be. Like, I wanted to be 10 out of 10. I'm more like 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Have I been playing SWOTOR at all recently? Mr. Donkey, I have not. I have not played SWOTOR in since 2024 or 3. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, tech-wise, Fable should be great. I agree. I see you're in the chat all the time. Is it IMO? Is it emo? IMO. Is like, what? How do I say your name so I can call you out better? Because I see you in chat all the time, and I like always am like, I agree with what you say a lot of times, and I have no idea like how to pronounce your name. So if you could just let me know in chat, I appreciate that. But yeah, tech-wise with Forza Tech, like, Fable should be solid. You'd hope, but they're also like rethinking and reworking that. Because like, they talked about how, you know, like the way they crossed, like, I think when they started testing like on foot, when they were testing the map size, they had you like run around on foot in Fable or Forza Horizon 3's map, and they were like, yeah, this is too big. So it's a new challenge for them. Do you think Crimson Desert and Fable will be too similar? No. They're both doing kind of different things. I think Fable's more of an RPG. Crimson Desert's more of like an open world action game. You should play some before FOTOR. Mr. Donkey, are you saying that because, you know, there might be like something in there that I should be paying attention to? Wombo, I've been a Resident Evil fan for a while. I love Resident Evil. I mean, I love survival horror. I think I'm more of a Silent Hill fan just based on what I have played of Silent Hill versus Resident Evil. I love like a more impactful, thought-provoking story, and like Resident Evil is just fun, campy, sort of B-tier action stuff, and that's good. Ones like, though, Resident Evil 7 are great. I loved Resident Evil 7 from top to bottom. We'll be talking about that soon on Retro Rebound, which I also got to record sometime. I got to get Josh the files for that. Yeah, it's going to be a busy couple of days, man. It's been a breakneck February. Usually it's like March is where things kick up a gear, but this has been a breakneck February. But we're going to, like I said, my wife and I have a little vacation plan, so I'm looking forward to some time to breathe. Sarah just posted a statement on LinkedIn. She did. Oh, boy. All right, let's take a look. Give me one sec, guys. Let's see what Sarah Bond said on LinkedIn. Sarah Bond, LinkedIn. I'm not signed in on my fucking browser. Damn, hang on. Okay, whatever. It's not signing me in. This is annoying. I'll catch it later. It's fuck Xbox right now. I don't care. I saw Sarah apparently made a post earlier today about Xbox suggesting she didn't even know this was coming today. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm going to be working the weekend, bro. I could just see there being like a fallout to this whole situation. If that's true, that'd be fucking crazy. Yeah, link it to me, Josh. I think I see you typing in our Discord right now. Destin posted Sarah's message. Thank you, Volcom. You're the man. Let me get that. Let me get that real quick. Let's go to Twitter. The homie Destin Legary. Oh, wait. It's like literally the first thing. Oh, wait. What? Colin's fucking tweet is so good. This is so good, bro. Mad Booty learning he somehow got promoted again. Oh, bro. I love Colin. Oh, Major Nelson saying, hey, let me know if you want to chat. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's grab Destin's post here. Hold on. Okay. We got a couple of things here. Shinobi posted, former Xbox President Sarah Bond posted this 3 hours ago on LinkedIn. We'd love to learn more about how you play so we continue improving Xbox accessibility features. When everyone plays, we all win. Can you schedule a post on LinkedIn? I don't use that shit, so I don't know. But I wonder if that was just what happened there. Destin said, just got this from a Microsoft representative after the Xbox news that contained statements about this and Sarah Bond. As part of this transition, Xbox President Sarah Bond has decided to depart the company to pursue her next chapter. So it sounds like she resigned. Okay. And then, Sarah Bond just commented on LinkedIn about today's shakeup at Xbox. Here's a statement. Hi, team. I know there's a lot of news to take in today. I'm incredibly proud of what we built together. PC and cloud gaming are growing faster. Next console. When we announced our intention to acquire Activision in 2022, I committed to helping lead Xbox through what would be a critical period of change. Over the past 4 years, we navigated that moment together and positioned the business for what's to come next. Okay. With that, I've decided this is the right time for me to take my next step, both personally and professionally. We're living through a transformative technological era that will shape the next generation of our industry. I'm energized by what's ahead. This moment also presents a unique opportunity for fresh eyes and new leadership to guide the team into its next chapter. Change is coming. Oh, AI is coming. I've had the privilege of spending time with Asha over the last few weeks as we've planned for this transition, and I've seen firsthand her deep commitment to our players, developers, and brand. She brings deep technology and commerce experience alongside a strong track record of building and scaling platforms that the world uses. Xbox deserves this. I'll remain on as a special advisor to ensure a smooth transition. Okay, so same deal as Phil. I want to thank Phil for his mentorship and friendship. He's been a consistent champion. I've learned a great deal. Grateful for his trust. Also want to thank Satya for sponsorship and support throughout my time at Microsoft. As a person sign off, I've been reflecting on 3 simple questions. Did I bring my best? Did I help someone else succeed? Did I do my best work? I hope the answer has been yes for many of you. It's been a privilege to work alongside this team. I feel kind of bad for Sarah, man. Out of all the big 3, I like the queen the most. She seemed to hold a lot of what made Xbox right, but also she had some really bad quotes recently, like Xbox exclusives are antiquated. I was like, I don't know, bro. But thank you guys for letting me know about this. Yeah, this will no doubt develop and evolve over the weekend. Bombshell. I love this. PlayStation could do the funniest thing right now. Replace Herman Hulst with fucking Phil Spencer. Can you imagine? That would be... Oh, actually, hold on. Someone's got that in the replies right here. Fire Hulst and hire Spencer. Oh, my God. All right. That's enough Twitter for now. Let me unwind. Let's unwind. Chat, let's unwind. Silent Watcher here. Mostly been watching since 2015. Thank you, Zilly. Appreciate you. Okay. Let's see. We've been live for 3.5 hours. I'm in the mood for pizza and wings. I'm going to go check with everyone else what's going on. I've kind of I siloed myself out anytime I stream. So I just want to see what's going on around the industry. I want to DM some friends and see what's going on with the video. I want my takeout food. I want the weekend. I'm a little cooked right now because I got a shitty night of sleep. My fault. I was playing Resident Evil. But, I will be live again Tuesday. I don't want to guarantee it yet, but I'm sure you will see a video from me over the weekend on Mr. Matty about all of this news here. So we'll dive into that. But guys, thank you, and gals, thank you for being here. Incredible stream, really memorable one. Very much just flying by the seat of our pants. Thanks for hanging out and watching me do a video live. That was very different for me, but this has been a really good time, and let's do it again on Tuesday. Who knows? This will be who knows what news drops then. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We'll talk soon. Love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Mwah. Peace out.